35 weeks. It's been 35 weeks since the drivers of the A² Cup Series took the track in Daytona in a very cold February day. Well, depending on the climate, I suppose. And over the course of the spring and the summer and the late summer, they've been fighting tooth and nail to try to call themselves a champion. And by the end of tonight, one of 4 illustrious drivers will have that honor and will not only find their place right there in victory lane, they will also find their way as a champion of the A² Series. Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Young for one final time, bringing you the action here tonight for the Michigan 280 presented by 7 Bar Barbecue here in Michigan International Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. As you see the cars going around the track, this last minute prep is happening on qualifying starting a little bit later tonight. Should be happening in just a second, and unlike usually, we will give you full coverage of qualifying. So we will show here, as it wouldn't be myself if I didn't make a mistake here to start showing the ants and the nerves already. As we'll take that off and show you the times right now. Edward Marshall, fastest in the practice session right now. As if he can keep those times going right there in that number 16, he could be one of the 4 drivers taking a championship. We will go over all 4 drivers in the playoffs and all that other news in just a second, as we're about to head into qualifying here. We'll let the drivers play it out. So your top 5 right now in the warm-up: Marshall, Vordon, Oberstadt, Featherplace, Dixon, but just got beated by Marshall is Josh Gaiman, another one of the final 4. So as they head out right now, session should officially advance here, and we should head on towards qualifying here in a couple of seconds. So again, sorry for the delay, as there was a slight issue in the session, but we will be good, and we will bring you flag-to-flag coverage. So we should see the session wrap up here in just a second, and we should advance on towards qualifying, as we have 19 cars here, as Gaiman going to hit that tire itinerary as he tries to come down pit lane. Yep, that will advance on, I believe. We'll just make sure here in a second, as everyone's pulling off the track. A couple cars still going out. There's Edward Marshall. Ryan Dixon still doing some laps. Kevin Feemster here. Obviously, go Bears, go, bear down. Even though we are technically in Lions country, but, you know, it's good to see a Bear scheme out here, as they'll be playing Monday Night Football tomorrow night. Yep, that will end the session, so we will move on towards qualifying here. Gaiman, Marshall, Verdun, Oberstadt, and Featherplace, your top 5. So qualifying has officially started, and as usual, we'd like to thank, again, Just the Top for sponsoring all the rounds of qualifying here, as they've been a valuable sponsor here in this series, and they have been a great sponsor on board on this qualifying session. We're glad to have them on for the whole season. So right now, we are going to probably try to follow all 4 top 4 drivers in the playoffs as they do their laps. We will try to pivot to other drivers that are here. Obviously, some other notable names include Feemster, Wanzing, Oberstadt, and McDonough, all going to take laps here to start. We are going to try to keep the focus on the 4 playoff drivers, as they are basically the ones that will have a championship decider here this evening. So Gaiman going to be the first one to take his opening laps here in the CZW number 61. We're actually going to go inside the cockpit and actually pull up the driver data here. He was the fastest in practice. Obviously not 100% of that was toe helped. So we'll see how his times play out here in quality. So I'm trying to run that middle high groove here at the very least. Now I'm going to go a bit lower here. Pinch the apex, going to slide back out. He comes across the line for lap number 1. It's going to be good enough for pole position. He'll bump Kevin Feemster off the slot. However, he's still going to have a second lap here. We'll see if the second lap can be a little bit faster. Feel all the pressure right now. Because you know qualifying does matter to a degree. Obviously, stages will not matter here, so you don't have to fully worry about stages. But you want to make sure you can at least put your car towards the front. Try to avoid some trouble. So second lap in the book for Gaiman. Can he jump back to pole position on the second run? He will go slower. So it seems at the moment first run will be the fast one. Patrick Oberstadt, that man right now, is your fastest driver. But we're now going to pivot on to Matt Vordon. Keeping the Joe Dirt paint scheme that we saw last week. Thinks it's going to bring him the most luck. He is going to start his 2 flying laps right now. Joe Dirt, your average American hero. So he's going to start his second lap. The first lap, I should say. Quick shout out to Brian Johnson. Great opening the second lap there. He's going to jump with the P2. Just want to give him some shout as he's usually not in these high qualifying positions. So good run by him. But now we'll pivot back to Matt Vordon here. He knows the time he has to beat, 38.37. If he wants pole, 38.53. If he wants to be towards ahead of all the other playoff drivers so far. First lap going to be in the books. And it's going to be good enough for pole position for the driver of the Joe Dirt machine. P1. Playoff driver, so. Second lap not probably going to be the faster one, but he is going to at least try an attempt here. Michigan being a bit of a wild card track. Fuel mileage obviously plays a factor, but this is definitely a track that helps the long throttles and lifting off times. A track that does play into Vordon's strengths a little bit. As he comes up to finish his second run right now, across the line. Not going to improve, but still will be pole position. Will now join Brandon Featherplace in that iconic 34 Ghost machine. As he's going to have his first run here. As he comes across the line, this will be his first time of 2 laps. He's 3 of 4 playoff drivers. Marshall just started his flying lap as well. Coming across the line. Only good enough for P8, so he's going to have to find some extra time here if he wants to jump up and get pole position. We have seen Featherplace occasionally struggle in quali, but he usually makes that time up throughout the race, so it's not anything to fear if he was to qualify in the back, because we all saw him pretty high on the timing boards. So as he comes off the last corner here to finish his second lap, where can he put this number 34? He's going to come across the line, and he is going to put down a time that's going to put him P8. But one driver that just snuck it by is Edward Marshall. Just set a blistering pole lap, and he is not even going to take the second lap. Just looking at the field, only Ross Baxter and Dale Markowski and Brian Dixon are currently on the track to take laps. Blake Galloway, last week's race winner, and Matthew Kent, the only other 2 that are not have hit the track yet that could put down valid times. So Marshall right now takes the first shot across the bow of the playoff drivers, and he will have the time to beat out of the playoff drivers at the moment, as he will be the fastest. I want to do a quick shout out as well to Chris Fleming, as he is going on his second lap, already finished it up, but rocking a special paint scheme for the final race here. Pretty cool design. Just wanted to shout it out, as he was pretty proud of that scheme in the chats. Markowski, on the other hand, finishes his first run here. And he's going to put himself up to P4. So I don't think we really need the driver data on the screen anymore. As he will finish his first lap. Ross Baxter will jump up the P4 as well, knocking Markowski down. And this will push Gaiman down 2 spots. And Featherplace right now barely inside the top 10. When his teammate Brian Dixon is the first lap, seems to be the faster lap. So we'll let Dixon finish his first run here and see what happens. He comes across the line. And he's going to jump up the P4 as well. So the last 3 drivers have all slotted in nicely in the P4. And that is going to push Brandon Featherplace outside the top 10. So Markowski does not improve on his second run. We'll just see if anyone bucks the trend here. Can Ross Baxter use his second lap to go faster? He will not. And then Brian Dixon, last of the drivers here. Only Matthew Kent and Galloway, who's on the track, have yet to go. And Galloway will put down a time. Second lap in the books. Brian Dixon will stay P4. Now we'll pivot the last week's race winner, Blake Galloway, in a very topsy-turvy race, which was the cutoff race. Don't let the banner on the top fool you. Galloway is not fighting for a championship here tonight. But he's one of the few drivers that can say they played spoiler in the playoffs in A Squared, as he found victory in the Sin City. First lap about to start now for Blake Galloway. If he wants pole position, he's going to have to jump up to a 38.21, which is over a 10th clear of Matt Vordon in seconds. That is going to have to be a blistering time. And you think he hits the wall, just barely scrapes it. We'll see if this lap completes or not. However, that lap was pretty close on times here. He comes off through 3 and 4. We'll see if this lap does end up counting, as he did have a little close brush with the wall. It's only going to be good enough for P28.18, so this lap will count. However, this lap will not be the fastest, and there's a good chance he could be able to make the second lap a little bit faster. Because right now he'd be coming from pretty much the last qualified position on the grid. Second lap as he comes off the corner here. Good enough to jump up to P16. So with that, qualifying is, well, I'd say that, but Matthew Kent's going to make a late run here. Should have enough time to put down one time. So Kent will be the one that sounds off the gun here, as he's going to have an extra attempt here to do a lap. Because it only takes about, well, we see him blink for a second, a couple blinks. Brent Roberts also just joined the session, but he will not be able to put down a time in time. So looking at the board, he's got to beat a 38.80. Obviously looking at the clock, that gives him plenty of time on his first in the money lap here to try to break into the top 5 or even steal away pole position from Edward Marshall. Comes across the line here, last competitive lap of the session, and it's going to be good enough for P4. So 4 of the last 5 drivers have slotted their car in P4, and Matthew Kent will get to keep it. However, he will not be able to take pole position, as that will go to Edward Marshall, as he will be the championship 4 driver, and he will be the driver on pole position. So we Marshall, Vordon, Overstat, Kent, Dixon, your top 5 as we head on to warm-up. So as the drivers head onto the track, we will take this quick opportunity to do a little homework and talk about our Championship 4 real fast and how they got here. So as the drivers head out on the track, and we'll start in numerical order. Well, first of all, we'll talk about the Constructors and the Rookie of the Year standings and all that, the other major series, the championships of the series. Bowie Esports pretty much has locked up the Constructors, as they are pretty much in a spot where I think they will not be caught by SRD if the math is correct. And as for the Rookie of the Year standings, Vordon and Brian Dixon are in a bit of a dogfight here. 4 points separates them after New Hampshire. Obviously, Vegas, we're not 100% sure, but there will be factors that will play into that. So right now, Vordon is also fighting for a Rookie of the Year championship. Is looking to join John Hagen. It's one of the only drivers to win the Rookie of the Year championship and win the A-Squared championship. So what we got this second, would like to run over, like I said, the Final 4 and how they got here. We'll start off with the man in the 00, Matt Vordon here. One thing to describe his season is he's Mr. Strategic, as he's been a driver that's been quite fast, but he's played strategies and played them to his advantage, as he's found 2 wins this season, once winning at, I believe it was Kansas, if I'm not mistaken, where he took a 2-tire strategy and got the first win to lock himself in the playoffs, and then took a second victory in Iowa to put himself in through the round of 8, He's been able to get to the round of 4. Obviously, the latest of the drivers in. However, the strategy booklet opens up. He could be a driver to keep an eye out for. Next up, we got the driver of the 16 and our pole sitter, Edward Marshall. There's one thing to describe him. He's the short track wonder. Sorry, not the short track wonder, the short stint wonder. as he's definitely been a driver that has been great on the short runs with those tires, and he knows how to get a run going, especially on a short run. If we see a late green-white checkered run, he could be a driver that could take this championship. Obviously won one race this season, won in Indianapolis to punch his way in, and he's a Mr. Consistent in the playoffs, even though he hasn't found victory in the playoffs. He is a driver that's been consistent, and right now, look, he's got the speed. We'll see what he can do. Next up, the 34, Brandon Featherplace. Third time here in 3 seasons in the Final Four, and this is the third time the lucky number is 3, the magic number for Brandon Featherplace. Won a couple times this year, to say the least. He's the only driver in the round of 8 to find victory. 2 wins this season. Actually, yeah, 2, just double-checking my numbers. 2 wins. He won once in Atlanta, where he bested John Hagan, and then he won in the round of 8 to punch his ticket to the Final Four at New Hampshire, dueling out Seth Wansing. He is here. Mr. Consistent is what I like to call him around the garage, as he's a driver that's won 2 regular season titles, and he's someone that can always be a punch here for consistency, and that consistency propel him to a championship. And last, and certainly not least, driver of the 61, Josh Gaiman. A lot to say about him. He's the only driver in the Final Four that has not found victory yet this season, but he's someone that is found, you could generally argue, volatile, but at the very least, versatile as well. He's someone that is very strong in any car you put him in. He finds that speed, and he's versatile at any track you could throw him in, as well as he finds great success on a lot of different disciplines. And he's a driver as well that maybe has a little bit of luck on him. Maybe the tides has turned, as he's a driver that came into the round of 8 not even thinking he was going to be in the spot, but with a disqualification of John Hagan, he found his way in. He took this opportunity and ran with it, pointing his way in to the Final Four. So that is your 4 drivers here tonight that are in the Championship 4. Keep an eye out for them, and one of them will get their first championship, as no driver so far in this Final Four has won a championship, so we will have a new champion. The question is, who will that driver be? So we got 50 seconds to go here before we get on to warm-up being complete. We head on to the main race, get the goosebumps going. So you can probably cut the tension in that garage with a knife, as it is razor thin right now. So you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to be cautious. You don't want to make any mistakes. You want to make sure you keep your car clean, and you don't want to take yourself out before the race even starts. So again, if you're also at home as well, thank you for joining in. You got a quick second, take a bathroom break, get a snack, buckle in, because this is going to be a fight for the ages here in the hills of Michigan. As we will see you on the other side as we head off here in the warm-up and head on to the main race. And if you are joining us, thank you for joining us just in time. As you see the grandstands fill up, that can only mean one thing. We are on the road for the last race of the season to start here for the Michigan 280, presented by 7 Bar Barbecue. So as the drivers get ready on the grid, as the nerves are at a pentacle isolation, we will see how this all shakes up. So everyone spawns in. Let's take a look at the starting grid one final time this season. So starting on row number one is going to be Edward Marshall and Matt Vordon, playoff drivers. Fastest 2, Marshall seems to have a lot of speed in that Sunday Money 16. We'll see what they can do. Vordon as well has some good speed as well at these tracks. They'll be inside on the row number 1. Row number 2, going to be Patrick Overset. Good to see him back in that car after a couple weeks off. Looking to maybe end the season on a high. Same with Matthew Kent, who had a late resurgence. They'll be in row number 2. Row number 3, Brian Dixon and Ross Baxter, Bowie Esports drivers, looking to try to lock this champion constructor up for Bowie. I believe they already have it locked up, but both being inside row 3, that is a good starting point for both of them. Row number 4, Dale Markowski and Josh Gaiman. Markowski came within a couple whiskers of making it next to the Final Four, but looking to end the season on a high and probably come back to Black Acid if he so chooses. Josh Gaiman, obviously the other Final Four driver, just looking to get that elusive championship. Row number 5, Brian Johnson and Josh Battles. Johnson, good qualifying from him. Josh Battles, consistently putting that car inside the top 10. They'll be row 5. Row number 6, Seth Wansing and Brandon Featherplace. Odd change of events. Pole sitters from New Hampshire a couple weeks ago. First row, front row, I should say. Now in row 6, Wansing, again, keep saying it, but looking in the season on a high. Brandon Featherplace, championship driver, going to be starting the furthest back. He'll be in row 6. Row 7, Chris Fleming and Kevin Feemster. They'll be row 7. Row 8, Colin McDonough, Mike LaJoy. Row number 5, Blake Galloway, Ryan Pinnell. And then last row of the grid, Mark Dila and Bren Roberts. They'll bring up the 10-car field. So obviously we only get one pace lap here. That's why we kind of hurried up on the finish line there. Quickly to run over the race day information, just to make sure everyone is up to speed. It's the final race of the season. 140 laps await these drivers. Do not have an updated number sheet here, so stages are going to be quite interesting. So I'm not 100% sure what they are, as that has not been provided to me. So we're just going to assume it's probably going to be around maybe 20, and we'll say around 80, but obviously we'll see the caution flag when it plays off. Obviously 50% fuel, no green white checkers, no fast repairs, and restart on green for the first one, and every other one on the opposite side. So let's get this show underway, shall we? Green flag is out for the final time this season, and we are underway for the Michigan 240. As lap number 1 is beneficially completed, Edward Marshall will lead the opening lap for Don, though, nipping at his heels. They'll be trying to get in cahoots here. Obviously, Michigan being a draft track, you're going to see cars try to run this, get the train, get the draft, similar to we've seen at Auto Club this early season as well. Try to make runs, but more importantly, keep an eye on fuel runs as drivers may be able to try to save. As Tommy Withers, obviously the last similar track to this, you could argue, came down to fuel strategy. That played in the factor that got Tommy Withers his only win on the season. So battle for second here. Vordon stuck on that high side, and Kent just going to slip around him. And he's now going to be in P number 2. Because now Vordon also going to be in trouble here as Patrick Oberstadt looking to try to make a move. Fastest lap of the race for Edward Marshall that time by, as he is gone the quickest. Obviously we know he's great in the short run, but we'll have to see if those tires can hold on the long run. One driver that's made a big amount of movements right now is Seth Wansing, up 5 spots in that number 5 machine. As he has made great inroads, as he's already up 5 spots, one of the biggest movers. It's just up the road as well. Vordon and Oberstadt. Wansing going to try to split him, as we see right now. It is not looking good for Matt Vordon, as he is going the wrong way quickly in that Joe Dirt machine. He's going to get split here. He's going to lose 2 more spots. So starting on the front row, already falling outside the top 5 in 6 laps is not an ideal strat. Ross Baxter right now going to fall a little squiggly, and he's going to fall outside the top 10, as he's now going to get under pressure here. So you see Baxter with a bit of a connection issue there. It's a marathon, not a sprint, as Gaiman going to pass one of his championship rivals in Matt Vordon. So Vordon, we did see this a couple weeks ago, where drivers took it a little easy on the opening lap, tried to save the tire, tried to play strategy here. Got to see Wonder again. It's a little early to save fuel, as we usually see in the first stage. It's set up that fuel is not a concern. Maybe Vordon just doesn't feel comfortable with the tires. Maybe the long run doesn't work, and he wants to make sure he's got his rubber back under him and just telling the rest of the field, hey, burn your stuff up if you so choose. A little bit further back, Featherplace trying to get around Fleming. He's gained 3 spots off the launch. Same with that number 38 car. They are now side by side just inside the top 10 here as they battle for 9th. Featherplace does have a teammate in front of him in Dixon, so he can kind of be a helper here or a herder, depending on the lines he chooses. Can give a tow to Featherplace where he needs it, and at the same point, give him a little bit of a block to the 38 of Fleming if he so chooses as well. see Fleming just try to get down the corner here. Featherplate's going to get a push here and try to pull over. Looking in the chat right now, I see Blake joining us, and sadly I do not have the supermarket PM system to ping the drivers to let them know about DMs. I know you're joking though, but still, at the very least, he'll probably check that at the end of the race. But again, I know you're at least semi-joking. So anyway, back to the front. Edward Marshall still leading the way. He's led all 7 laps, but the pack is slowly beginning to reel in here. Kent, Oberstadt, and Gaiman have reeled in that number 16. Still running personal best times right now. I would actually say that, but we'll check the times across the board here. As Oberstadt making a move on Kent, fastest that time by was the driver of that number 60. As he was technically not even the fastest, actually it was Gaiman just in 4th there. So that tow and that draft is really playing numbers. See them side by side for 2nd. We'll try to shut the door a little bit, couldn't fully get it in. Now Gaiman gonna have a good run here. He's gonna get past. Now Gaiman now gonna be in 3rd. Now going to try to get a run. Kent just smacks the wall a tiny bit here. Gaiman just going to stay in line, pretty much push him, want that extra speed. Right now, over 200 miles an hour as he's going to head off into the corner. To show you, well, a little bit late on the driver data, but see it on the sideboard here was well over 200 as he topped down that straight. Just pushing Matthew Kent, not wanting to cause a fuss and make a line judge here. Cut the place, beginning the move. You see him in the far shot working on Brian Johnson here. He's already gained 5 spots, trying to get around Johnson. Comes to Dixon in tow there. He's going to get clear. Almost got his fender pushed in there by Johnson. But no harm, no foul. Now you can see the championship rivals of Vordon and Featherplace beginning the battle. And he's also going to get clear. So Vordon still going the wrong way. His lost 5 spots. Seems to be leading a stop for the moment. However, that almost seems to be hesitary. Matthew Kent, while we were kind of watching this, has got dispatched by Josh Gaiman and has now even lost a spot to both Oberstadt and Wanzing. So Kent just left out to dry. Featherplace with a little bit of a snap there. However, he keeps it pointed in the right direction. But you don't want to feel like snapping it here at lap 10. It can always be a bit sketch. Keeping an eye on the intervals to the lead. It's getting kind of close up front, but still not enough yet to see the move of the race, but I think we're going to cut to it in just a second. We are actually going to cut to it now. Gaiman within a sniffing distance of, right now, Edward Marshall. Pull up his driver data here. He's been using that toe to his advantage. Off the corner right now, gonna get the big old slipstream, gonna go low. Marshall gonna block it, so he's not gonna have a send here. And we are actually gonna have a caution, so that will neutralize the field, and that is gonna be Chris Fleming involved in it. So he's went off the track here, so it looks like it's gonna be him. Not seeing anyone else of note here in a second. Do see also McDila and McDonough maybe having something happen, so we'll take a look here, see what exactly happened to bring out the first caution of the night. So obviously you can already see what's happening there. 38's already a little bit sideways. So we'll back it up a little bit, let it play at full speed. Let's try to make a move on Dixon. Doesn't get close, gets loose. Runner Roberts trying to save it. Comes up the road. Almost hits the itinerary. At this point, he's trying to lock it down. Yeah, I think that was more of just a reactionary caution to be safe rather than end up causing it, as I do not see anything else of note. This is the only car that went off track, and probably safer than sorry, obviously, and not wanting to see a big old pileup happen. We'll take another look at it real fast, just to be safe, just to make sure nothing else crazy happened. And actually, we'll take it on board with a 33 of Dale Markowski. Obviously, he had some trouble on pit lane. And we'll just find the right camera. Here we go. We'll go on board with them, because he's going to have an interesting perspective of this. So Fleming obviously gets loose there. Almost down pit lane, shoots up. There's enough time to react, but it's still a situation where it can be a very sketchy seeing a car kind of shoot up the road right there. You don't want to cause a major pileup. We'll take one more look. This time we'll go inside the cockpit of the driver of the 38. If we can get the right angle. There we go. And you already can see him having his handful here. So we'll go back, play it here. Just kicks. Trying to save it, trying to save it, trying to save it. Doesn't hit anything, shoots up the road, now on the brakes. And luckily no one else piles on in. So luckily, no harm, no foul, but first caution of the night for the driver of the 38. So we'll head up to the front here. A couple cars electing to pit here. Obviously not at stage break yet. Not fully sure when that is, but I'm going to assume it's either 20 or 25. A few cars electing to come in. Most of the cars in the back. Barkowski, Galloway, Dixon, LaJoy, Pinnell, and Roberts all electing to come in here, as you see on the pit road screen. Only Roberts having a lengthy repair clock here. Everyone else out within 15 seconds. Galloway and Markowski just topping off. So they may be trying to flip the stage, or at the very least stay out, possibly try to make the second stage work. So we get to see the first restart of the night. We have seen in the past drivers get caught out by this restart. Obviously, it's usually with cold tires and fresh tires, so I don't think this is going to be that much of a factor on this restart. However, the next restart when we get to the stage break could be interesting. See how these drivers react to cold tires. So one more lap of pacing. We should get the one to go this time by and take the green on lap 16. There's the one to go. So Marshall, Gaiman, Wanzing, Featherplace, Oberstadt, Fordon, Kent, Dixon, Johnson battles your top 10. Right now, playoff drivers are 1, 2, 4, and 6. So they occupy all 3 rows. Restart will be on Marshall's digression here. He'll have control in the restart zone. His truck will pull off. Teammates on the inside line, rivals on the outside line. Green flag is out and away we go. And you can see with that teamwork, per se, as being in the same chat, Wanzing and Marshall get a good launch here. Going to get clear now. Wanzing maybe be a little bit of a pick there in front of Gaiman. Not going to get the launch he needs, though. He'll have to settle here on the inside line. So right now, Featherplace going to try to answer back here. He's going to get past. Back up front, though. Marshall low, Gaiman high. Shades what we saw earlier, but keep an eye on Featherplace. Great exit off the corner here. If there's anything we remember last week, Featherplace and Gaiman got to blows battling for a podium spot. Obviously, Featherplace was locked in and Gaiman was pretty much locked in, so it had no real effect. But obviously, both pushed each other to the edge and both took each other out of the race. Now here, the marbles do matter as Featherplace almost gets into the corner panel there. As we go on board with the driver 34. Marshall's going to go defensive, try to go low. The place trying to dog that throttle. You can see him lifting it, just trying to get that car to rotate in the center here. He's a little bit too far back, but we'll head up the game in here. Pushing north of about at 200, now at official 200 as he shoots off here. Just fully can't get that run he needs. Maybe you don't want to tip your hand too early. Remember, stage points aren't a thing. Obviously, we have stage breaks, but not stage points. So overall, maybe not want to tip your hand too early. You need it later, but right now, Gaiman just a bit up out of the groove. It's going to let Feather Place yo-yo back in. And, oh, a little wall tap there for Gaiman. So theoretically, I think we're getting close to the end of the stage here. It's going to be within the next X amount of laps. A little bit further back, Brian Dixon trying to make a move on Bourdon. He'll get clear, so now Dixon the 5th, Bourdon going to have to settle back to 6th. Inside the top 10, Kent and Ryan Pinnell fighting. Two football schemes in the field right now, and the Atlanta Falcons of the 12 trying to get ahead here. As they smorgasbord back here, but up towards the front, Marshall going to lead lap 20. See if that is the end of the stage. Looks like it is not, so we do continue on. And that, well, the stage, well, I don't know if it's the end of the stage or there may be a caution. We'll double check. Yeah, everyone's crossed the line. Don't see anything of note real fast, just making sure no one ended up going the wrong way around. Nothing of note, so I'm going to guess that's the end of stage number 1. Marshall will take victory in stage 1. Gaiman, Feather Place, Wanzing, Bourdon, your top 5 here in stage 1. And just for old time's sakes, we'll pull up the results for stage 1. Marshall, Gaiman, Feather Place, Wanzing, Bourdon, Dixon, Overstat, Feemster, Battles, Pinnell. It's technically slotted at 10th. Now they'll give it to Kent, so it looks like Kent will be 10th on the track here. So as we see the race off pit lane, we see a few drivers elect to roll the dice here. McDonough is going to win the race off pit lane, taking a fuel-only call. Obviously, him and LaJoy both came in before that caution for the stage break, so they elected to take fuel only. Gaiman going to be the first one off, though, as his crew is going to win him the race, as he is going to take 3rd, Marshall 4th, Feather Place 5th, Wanzing, Bourdon, Feemster, Oberstedt, Dixon, rounding out the top 10. So obviously we've seen McDonough and LaJoy do this. Well, more McDonough, not as much LaJoy. And this is going to give us kind of a first test to see what can a little bit older tires do. Deficit is only going to be about, give or take, 10 laps. So we'll see how it all plays out here. So obviously no car went lap down, no real reports of that, so no one going to come back around here, so we should get the one to go this time by, and we will. Only car coming back in again is Mark Dila. Now we know in the second stage, even though we do not have the number of when the stage break will happen, but if I had to guess, it's probably going to be around lap 80, give or take. Well, actually, it's usually half of what is the 140, so whatever that number, get a quick math here. So 70, so it should be lap 70, because usually the stage break is right when we hit about halfway, maybe a little earlier. So look around 65, 70 should we going to catch the next caution. And with these 50% fuel capacities, we usually see in the second stage drivers having to pit or maybe trying to save the number and hit it. And then the final stage, they have to pit at least once, if not twice. So we should expect another pit stop here in stage 2. As we fire forward. Also, we'll get to see how new tires do and cold tires do on a restart. Marshall's going to be the first one on those cold, fresh, new tires, along with everyone else behind him. So McDonough, LaJoie, Marshall, Gaiman, Featherplace, Wansing, Verdon, Feemster, Overstat, Dixon going to be your top 10.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out, and away we go to start stage number 2. So is Marshall going to do what he does best? Will lead stage number 2, similar to the first stage. Gaiman also going to get around LaJoie. So those old tires, even if it's 10 laps old, does not look like it's enough to really hang on even for a lap. Now, obviously, no offense to McDonough and LaJoie, they did qualify a little bit on the lower side of the field, so may not have the most indicative speed in comparison to what's around him. So it may not be the true test, but at the very least, though, you see a late caution, there could be factors as we see Featherplace get around McDonough. And now Verdon also going to try to get around McDonough as well. Dirty Air Motorsports driver here is going to be under pressure here. They'll be side by side heading off here. Gaiman, fast lap of the race, and is now on the cuff of Edward Marshall. We saw this in stage number 1, the end of stage 1. We'll see now if Gaiman, now with fresh life and fresh tires, can maybe make this move stick. Battle for third. Featherplace going to try to get a jump on LaJoie. Not going to be able to fully get it done. Sorry about that delay. Had a personal matter there up front, but we'll continue on here. And sorry for that intrusion as we're kind of watching that battle play out. Game is falling off the pace here. Marshall, Ordon, now 1-3 with Feather Place in between in P2. So Marshall, Feather Place, Vordon. We see right now Gaiman under pressure from Bren Roberts. Roberts, obviously haven't seen him in a little bit of a time. Good to see him back in that number 84 machine. He was an ultimate spoiler last season. Now looking to try to be the spoiler again here at the season finale. As he's on the back of Josh Gaiman. Lap 34 complete. Top two right now hanging out. We're staying on this battle for a moment, but we'll take a check here and go a little bit further down the field. Obviously, Robert's still in the back of Gaiman. They're in a close battle here. Markowski is just inside the top 15. He's low side. Baxter, high side. Brian Dixon trying to split the middle. Because now Markowski's low side. Further back up, Gaiman still under pressure from Roberts. That gap's closed within a tenth. Gaiman's still hanging on right now. Gaiman trying to rebound from what Gall's going to lose a couple spots. Now going to try to make one for Don. Champion 4 in the top 4. So we're going to try that camera angle on this. Actually, we'll go back to it. Thinking about switching out, but we're going to keep it on right now. This game is going to get a good run. Shunting the 00, knowing it's better to push, maybe to pass. Basically using what you see at the high banks of Daytona, Talladega, and the lot. Just push the car ahead, give him a little bump to try to close that gap. Usually when you're in a champ car machine, you want to make that over-under and slipstream move. Here, it can be a bit beneficial just to push and shove, try to get those extra little pushes. But still no major shakeups here. Gaiman going to go way high to the wall, try to get that fresh air. He just can't get that drive off in that high lane. So I wonder if maybe he'll have to try to switch it, but he gets to run off the exit though. So even though he loses speed on entry and middle, he sets himself up nicely when the 00 and the rest have to arc back up. So he's going to be side by side here for third. It's a little pinch high side here. Oh, Vordon not going to be able to hold it, and that is going to be a clear move for Gaiman. So Gaiman now to third. Vordon back to fourth. Stat also getting a little bit on the move there, trying to get around Roberts. Fully not going to get the move done. We'll head a little bit further back inside the top 10 here. Galloway, Fleming there side by side. Ooh, we say that, but we're going to go back here. Gaiman getting a good run on Feather Place. This is the battle for second. Gaiman going to recover those spots he lost. He's now back in the second. So Gaiman in second. Feather Plate's going to fall down to third. Meanwhile, Oberstadt under pressure from Bren Roberts. I guess vice versa. Oberstadt trying to take the same line Gaiman did. Can't get it done. Feather Place also thought about getting something done, but he also couldn't get it done as well. So they will keep their spots respectively where they are. Oberstadt going to go high, and actually, we'll kind of, no offense, cut back to this battle here because this one for seconds a lot more impactful Featherplace just trying to chip away on that low side, pretty much trying to slide his way up or slide his way sideways. But you can just see, again, Game getting that run off by staying on that high side. And that is what's helping him right now. But consistently looking at the times, Game is running slightly faster than Marshall, especially later in the run. And that is kind of expected, as we know Marshall falls off a little bit later and later in runs, as now we're about 20 laps on these tires in the stint. We're seeing that effect begin to play. And I do wonder, as we go longer here, right there, a bit of a check up there by Gaiman. That's going to make him fall back into the clutches of Featherplace. So right now, generally argue Marshall's pretty much the precipice of consistency right now. And he's managing those lines, not making any mistakes, keeping that car planted in the right spots. And Gaiman and Featherplace can really do anything to break up that trend. So it's top 3, top 4, all championship drivers. We'll go a little bit further back. Wansing trying to make a move on Fleming, as we previously just saw, I believe it was Blake Galloway to make the move. He gained a couple spots. Now we see Wansing trying to come around as well. Honestly, Wansing uncharacteristic, but I do wonder, while I did step away, if something may have happened to a couple drivers. Right now, Wansing going in still behind Fleming here. Try to charge up. If it gets a little closer up front, we will come back, but right now Marshall is still just holding the lines. There's nothing overly of note, so we'll kind of keep an eye on these battles further back. See the move clear there, so it put Wansing now up to 10th. Fleming will fall down to 11th. And that, we do see Markowski going to run on battles, Black Acid teammates, and Championship 8, round of 8 drivers getting the fight here. Markowski looking to clear battles. And we'll get it done, so now put Markowski up the spot. Battles down to 14th. Back up to the lead we go again. Top 3 have now pulled away from Verdon at least a little bit. And actually, this time I will actually watch on board with Verdon, as he's going to kind of show you the top 3's lines here and see how they play out. So keep an eye on where everyone plays themselves over this lap here. So Marshall obviously controls the pace. He goes high. He likes to arc low. Gaiman likes to run that super high line. And the other place is running a similar line to Marshall, but just not as low. Obviously, you don't want to go too far down and try to arc up, because that is risky in itself. It loses a bit more time. You want to try to get low, but not too low. Watch again here. You'll see it again. Now Gaiman going to try to go low, change his lineup a little bit. We know there's presumably going to be at least one pit stop here. Going that low doesn't fully work out. Gaiman having to wheel that thing to try to avoid hitting that wall. So at the very least, can't blame him. He's trying to switch up his line. He knows he can't fully get the job done on that high side. He knows he's got to try to switch it up, and that is what he's doing at the moment. Ooh, right there again. Gaiman trying 3 and 4 to go low. We do know pit stops do loom, and I think it's time we're going to see him. So right now, Gaiman going to be the first of the 4 and the first of the top 5 in. You do not want to speed. He's, I think, good. Roberts, McDonough, and I believe Chris Fleming are all in as well. Clicked the wrong part of the screen. So we'll stay on Gaiman here for a second. We'll see what he does as he comes in here. Does he take 2? Does he take 4? It's usually the way of the crow. Hits his box, doesn't overshoot, but how he kind of locked it up, I'm going to assume he's taking 4. Thinks the best way, of course, is the undercut, and usually he's one of the first, but Marshall's usually quicker, and right there, 2 tires he goes, but Roberts just takes enough gas to get out, and away he flies. I almost wonder if Roberts missed his box. It was only 2 seconds. Anyway, our leaders are now in. Oh, Marshall! He loses it coming to pit lane! That is major implications, and he's stuck with the rest of the field all coming down. He's going to have to try to back it up and one-hop the curb here. We'll take a look at that in a second. Actually, we'll just take a look at it now as he comes down. That is going to put a dominant car, and we talked about how not to minimize your mistakes. Did he get help, or did he just lose on his own? We'll stop it here real fast. We'll go with a nice eye camera here. We'll play it again. He's coming down. Featherplay's going a little more aggressive. Oh, Vordon hit him. Vordon tried to slow down. He just shunted him, and that theoretically could be a penalty waiting. Or at the very least, obviously we'll see. Obviously, live stewarding, we'll see if anything has a factor on that. I don't know if there is one. But right now, Vordon definitely at least made a bit of an enemy there with Marshall. As there's nothing he can do. Now Marshall's going to have to pay the piper here of a mistake that he didn't cause. The only thing his penalty was coming in a bit too conservatively. Back up towards front, Roberts with the advantage of just taking fuel has got the lead here. Gaiman, Featherplace, McDonough, Galloway, Vordon, your top 6. And it just shows you how things can just change on a dime. One mistake. I was going to say this antidote for the final pit stops, but let me bring it up again. Mark Dila now in. And he is in, so that will officially hand the law. Everyone has officially pitted once this stage. And that means Brian Roberts will take the lead, but I don't think he'll have it for long, as you're going to see those tires and those tire disadvantage work here in Gaiman. Going to shoe on around, and he's going to have clean track and clean air, at least for a little bit, as we pull the up the speed graphic here. Currently at the moment, obviously he's not past Dila yet, but he officially will be in about a second here. And he is now our race leader. Roberts, Featherplace, 3rd. As they shoot off here, Featherplace only 1 second back. Vordon, that's Mark Dila. He's just got passed by Vordon, who's about 5 seconds back. And Edward Marshall, luckily on the lead lap, but he is now down to 15th. One positive, though, he does have a car that can get back up there. With a stage, at least another stage here. At least it wasn't the final stage that happened in, where I think he'd be more likely to be very, very angry. Now the next question comes down to the point is, can 2 tires work against, well, other 2 tires? The first driver on 4 theoretically is, I believe, just double checking, it's Patrick Overstat here, as he's battling Seth Wansing and Blake Galloway. But Gaiman's on 2, Featherplace on 2, McDonough's on 2, Vordon's on 2. I believe, again, I'm not 100% when stage 2 ends, as I was not given that information in the race day information. So we are just kind of assuming from what we see. If anyone in the race wants to fill me in, that would be great. But at the very least, though, I assume it's going to be 65 or 70, so we should have another 15, 20 laps before we get to the second and final stage. And they should be good to go here in stage 2 out another pit stop. So we'll go on board with the Ghost Energy 34. It's an odd choice. If you're in Featherplace right now, do you try to make this move, or are you comfortable riding? We talked about earlier in stage 1. There's not a disadvantage. You'll see Brian Johnson stop there on the road. He'll toe to pit lane. No caution was called, but luckily did not impede anyone, so we stayed green. But to go back to my analogy, my point, actually, we now have a caution. Wonder if that was for Brian Johnson there. Nope, it is actually going to be Blake Galloway in the 05, and there you see him right there. Remember, he was just inside the top 10, and that whole front end is torn up. I'm thinking he may have had a piece with Seth Wansing here. Quickly just check Seth Wansing here. Yeah, you can see some scratches on that door side, so something happened between the 2 of them, and we'll take a look to see what exactly happened. So there's Seth, there's Galloway. We'll take the driver data off the screen, and we'll go with a nice eye-in-the-sky camera, and we'll play it out here. Ooh, right there you see the move situation, and oh, just a correction and overcut. Oh, Fleming also nowhere to go. And that's going to be definitely a good reason for our caution there. Just an overcorrection into a correction. It just, you can see the effect that had as it plays out. So we'll take another look. This time we'll play it from another angle. Yeah, speed differential, and that just the wobbles. Wansing really had nothing to do with that. And Fleming even made it worse. Just T-boned him. So 3 cars involved. At that point, we'll take one more look at this. This time we'll go on board with the driver of the 38, Chris Fleming, as he's a little bit further back of this incident here. You can already see the overcorrection happen there. So we'll play it here. There's a snap, sends Wanzing out, and that's just, yeah, no saving it. And no, really, Fleming could go either. You can just see him, car cut down, and at that point, Fleming was there. There's really nothing you could do. But Wanzing comes up, but luckily doesn't hit anything on the way up. Oh, wait a minute. We'll see. Yep, Battles gets on the brakes in time. It was looking very close there, but good break by Battles. So we'll go back to live here. We do see drivers coming in. Pit road is now officially open. And a good chunk of the field is coming in. Again, with stage points, and look at, first of all, the fender of that 61 machine. It's obviously scratched a little bit. We'll see if he elects to fix that. Obviously, no fast repairs. May not even have an effect on performance, and he will lock it up, so that's going to cost games of time anyway. So we're going to keep an eye on Gaiman here for a second. We'll obviously just go to the second pit lane camera here, the first one. You'll see the race off pit lane. Featherplate's going to win it off as he just took fuel only. Gaiman will not overly affected, but I think he took 2. Then it'll be Baxter, Marshall, theoretically, I think repairing some of the damage he had, and also taking 2 tires there. 4 tires, I should say, and away he goes. So luckily, this caution will reel him back in, will give Marshall a lifeline, and should give him a chance to come back through the field here. But up front, Verdon leads the way. And remember, if you were here for the pre-race, talked about how Verdon is Mr. Strategy. He's a driver that finds those elements of strategy and knows how to pull them off to his advantage. When you need a weird strategy or need a strategy to play off, it usually falls into the hands of Verdon. Maybe staying out here is part of that call. Theoretically, everyone is going to pit when we see the stage break, I assume in 10 to 15 laps. However, it is unknown. Well, I'm not saying unknown. A couple could try to pull it out, but obviously not knowing the full fuel capacities, there could be a point where a driver elects to kind of pot in. And we know 46 to 21, if we assume that's close to the run you can get, or even 48 for some of the late runners like Dila. Well, actually, thinking Dila came in. So, yeah, Verdon would be a better comparison. So, a little around lap 20, 30, 40, so 26 laps. Obviously, good to go to the end here, presumably, or if not, going to try to save a little bit to stay out. He stayed out pretty much the top 9. And obviously, 26 laps, looking at the distance to the left of the flag, maybe 30, split it in kind of half. 30, 35, try to make that work. But obviously, we'll get that picture a little clearer when we get to the final stage. So, Verdon, McDonough, Overstat, DeJoy, Markowski, Dila, Kent, Battles, Pennell, Gaiman. Your top 10. Should actually probably be Featherplace, because Featherplace is on that outside line, but I think technically they're slotting him at 11th. Even though he did come out ahead of Gaiman, but maybe the outside line's going to slot in here. So, regardless, we'll see what this last run can do. Obviously, Gaiman, Featherplace, and Marshall all kind of generally could argue the back with the squirrels, if you will. And if a car spins or a car doesn't get going here on this restart, it could possibly hurt one of these drivers. We've seen that happen this season. One more note as well, Fleming, Galloway still in pit lane. 9 minutes optional for Fleming, so it looks like they won't be done, but any chance of getting a top 15 or even a top 10 may be done. And Galloway as well with a lengthy repair as well. So 17 cars still battling, 17 on the lead lap, 18 at the moment still running as we get ready for a short run here to the end of stage number 2. Green flag is out, and away we go. Good launch there by Verdon. Overstat, also good launch on that inside line, timing it well as he will slot up in front of McDonough. This is where it gets a bit interesting, to say the least, as we'll actually go just a little bit further back here. Keep an eye on Featherplace and Gaiman. Obviously, you don't have to move out of the way of the championship rivals, but at the same point, you don't want to end up making someone else's business your own if you can help it. All three pretty much being close right now. They're trying to negate the disadvantage here and try to get back up towards the front and make this final stage a race. Featherplace Kent had a little run in at Charlotte to start the playoffs. Right there, Pennell gonna arrow wash 34. That's going to allow both Marshall and Gaiman the swing swung under. Kent going to go high. Wide shot now, you can see right there. Kent side by side with Marshall. Up front, still Vordon. We want to keep an eye on how these top three move, and we know that 16 has got a rocket under it, as he's already challenging Pinnell, but almost ends up hitting Pinnell there. Feather Place still stuck behind Kent. Gaiman also trying to follow suit. They're both going to go low. Kevin Feemster coming down pit lane, a bit unorthodox, maybe has a penalty of sorts. 3 wide up the road here for third. Choi, Markowski, and McDonough. On the far shot, you can see right there, Marshall clears Dila. So Marshall now putting at least 2 cars between him and Gaiman, and Feather Place now 1. And you can see 3 wide almost, as Feather Place and Gaiman know they cannot let that 19 drive off into the distance. Feather Place trying to get that spot back. Did get the win off pit lane. However, worth noting as well, he has fuel only in that car. Marshall's got 4 freshies on that car, and Gaiman has 2 tires. That will explain why Marshall is going a tiny bit quicker, as he's pretty much got the tire advantage over a lot of the field right now. It's Dila and Kent 3 wide almost, as they battle for spots. Further up the road, we see right there Marshall going to get around Mike LaJoy. Marshall in third here at lap 60. We'll see if the stage ends this time by. Could be 65, could be 70. My guess is 70, because we usually do it with 1/2 to go when the stage ends. Have to divide 2 by 140, get you 70. So I'm just going to go with the math. We have 10 laps to go in the stage. Battle for second, Markowski and Oberstadt. Oh, look at that run off the corner. We see that 16 get. Just shows you what 4 fresh tires can do. And yep, confirming it, it is 70. So they will now have 9 to go in the stage. Further back, Feather Place Gaiman, they're both going to get around McDonough, and now they're inside the top 5. Something that's not helping Marshall right now, as you can say that they're battling here, but look at Marshall just trying to press the issue here. Remember, Markowski and Marshall got a little bit of contact last week. The reason why Markowski didn't advance, you know, there's no love lost between the 2 of them. Markowski obviously not going to probably rack him, but at the same point, it's not going to make his life any easier to try to pass. But how much can you really hold back a speeding bullet with 4 fresh tires? It's like trying to stop a bullet bill in Mario Kart. You just can't really do it. Further back, Feather Place Gaiman. Currently 3rd and 4th in the championship. Side by side here. Going to hang on at least for now, but Feather Place is knocking LaJoy. Oh, he gets a little loose right in front of 2 championship drivers, and thank the Lord that thing didn't snap up the road. You saw the smoke. He was able to save it, because that could have easily taken out 2 championship contenders and made this a 2-horse race for the gold. That would almost been a crying shame. Tragic, if you will. Markowski seems to kind of maybe overcooked his tires a little bit. He's still stuck in 3rd, as we see Markowski actually slowly reeling in Vordon. To be fair, the deficit of tires is only about 7 laps, so it's not overly an advantage here, as it is a little bit further down the field. But look at that in-road run Marshall has done on Markowski. Side by side, across the stripe. Give the spot to Markowski for the moment. But I don't think Marshall's going to have too much reprieve here. Can he arc up? By the way, while we watch this battle, you can still see Vordon still leading the way. He's led since the restart here. He's got about, after this coming lap 5 to go. As we remember, the stage does end on 70, not coming after 70. Vordon's looking to strategize his way towards the front. While they can kind of slot it in here, we'll head a little bit further back to show you another battle. Well, thought it was bad, but looks like Pinnell's not fully on side-by-side with McDonough, so we'll go back to what we were watching. Gaiman is now beginning to separate a little bit by Feather Place, but it is expected as Feather Place is on a fuel-only run here. He just doesn't have the tires under him, but he is saving a set, maybe for later. Look at this right now. Marshall going to take the Gaiman line on the high side, and that should make this move a lot smoother. Bourdon going to try to block over under. 16 now in a second. Now going to try to make a move for this lead of this race. Back to the low side where he likes it. He's just going to get that drive he needs. Can he slide up, though? He can. So he slides up to the lead. Marshall leading the way for Don, now in second. Markowski falling down to third. So going from a mistake on pit lane of his own undoing, now back to winning stage 2. That caution really helped him out there and gave him another chance here. Ooh, a little snap though. Gotta be careful not to overcorrect it. Now Markowski gonna try to take second for Verdon. Can Verdon stop the bleeding? Only has to make it 4 more laps. Markowski low side, Oberstadt there. You can see him right there. Just got a little too greedy, maybe Markowski, and that's going to cost him a spot. Now Oberstadt going to try the Gaiman line. Way high, Gaiman going to try low. He's going to have a good run of Markowski. But you can see right now Markowski's going to get that good toe, but with him going low now, that's going to side-by-side him back with Gaiman. Can Gaiman arc the corner here? Will get up, so put now Gaiman. Oh, Gaiman snaps, but the wall is going to save him. Almost could have shot down the road. Going to make you wonder if he's got any damage, but he does at least keep it pulling the right direction. Ooh, you can see it flash. Gaiman has caught those snappers at the worst times. And luckily, I think he got away with whatever that was. But how many lives can you get? Featherplace going to get a good run here on Gaiman. They'll still be side by side. No real speed lost by that 61. The damage was very minor. White flag in the stage, in the air. At the moment, Marshall, half a second clear of Vordon. Should cruise to a stage 2 victory, but right there again, a little tap into the wall. Possibly just getting run off the road a little bit. Nowhere to go. But regardless, Featherplace gets the spot. Gaiman now going to fall down to 5th. As they come off the last corner here, Marshall is going to sweep the stages. A thought we didn't think was going to happen after that catastrophe on pit lane. Stage 2 winner, Edward Marshall. He takes victory in stage 2. Verdon, Oberstadt, Featherplace, Gaiman, your top 5. As they come across the line, we'll show you stage 2 results here. Marshall, Verdon, Oberstadt, Featherplace, Gaiman, Markowski, Dixon, McDonough, Pinnell, and Matthew Kent, your top 10. And with that, the final second stage of the season is now to a close. That only gives us one more stage. The final stage, the last 70-lap run to glory for this field. 71, now 70 laps await these drivers. And at the end of those 70 laps, we will know who will be the next champion of A Squared is. But obviously, get ahead of ourselves. 70 more laps away. So they get cycled back around here. Pit lane should be open this time by Marshall, Verdon. Everyone should be relatively close. Again, advantage at the very least is Featherplace, Gaiman, and Marshall are able to get up through the field and are able to give themselves decent pit selection. Obviously not pit selection, but obviously will come in a lot closer, so they should get to keep the net gain. Obviously, Verdon with that strategy call, even though he was relatively still in the top 5, but staying out didn't really hurt him, and he will be able to stay forward. See on the high side, Brian Johnson going to get one of his 6 laps back, will now be 5 laps down. Of note, Fleming and Galloway all came back on the track. Only car behind the wall is Kevin Feemster, who called a race at 56 laps, so he will be de facto the last driver to get the last wooden spoon of the season in P20. So pit lane open. This isn't the money stop per se, but this is definitely an important one. Obviously, depending on the fuel capacities and the range of fuel, we'll have a clue when they can make it. And obviously, if they can't make it by half, then they'll have to make another stop. So everyone is in. Keep an eye on the pit lane. A couple cars going to take the wave around. Blake Gallo, actually only one. Blake Gallo is going to take the wave around. Brian Johnson will get the lucky dog. And Chris Fleming will come in. So keep an eye on the pit lane entry here and exit. It's going to be 4 tires for most, but it may see 1 or 2 drivers maybe elect to risk it if they came in like we saw McDonough. But they all fire off. And it's going to be won by Vordon's crew. You can see right there, Marshall's crew was very slow out of the box. And they're going to lose him 2 spots. Oberstadt's going to beat out Featherplay, so Vordon and Gaiman's crew step up the most. And they will give them the front row of the grid here for the final restart for the final stage. The 6 to 10 laps to go. A lot can happen in 68 laps. I'm just kind of taking a breath here because I remember many years ago, first A² season I did, championship was at Phoenix, and there were questionable stops on that final run there at Phoenix, and you know that maybe lingers in the back of some drivers' minds because of that. I've seen tons and tons of championship 4s. And I've seen strategy calls go a bust. We've seen drivers take 4 when they should have took 2, 2 when they took 4. I've seen it go so many different ways. And knowing that there's at least one more green flag pit stop and having to make the call of the season, 4, 2, whatever, try to save to make it 1 stop, try to go for 2 stops. There's a lot of questions here. A lot of interesting moves. Just take a big, deep breath. So when we get this final race start, it's going to be Vordon, Gaiman, Oberstadt, Marshall, Featherplace, Markowski, McDonough, Pennell, Dixon, Kent. You assume the run should get you about, I would assume, try to split it in half, 30 and 30. Can they make a 30 on 1 tank? If you can, you got 1 stop. If not, it's going to be 2 stops. Green flag is out, and away we go to start the final stage of the A² season.
The yellow flag is out.
We have a quick caution here. Figures as I was taking a quick look there, you could see the mistake while I stepped away. It was just double checking to see what it was. As we saw it coming to the line, it was Josh Gaiman. Luckily, it was a self-spin. We'll take a look. He was battling for the lead. Of course, picked the worst time to step out. See the contact. Gets him loose. It overcorrects, but luckily, again, it shoots up the road, and he gets split and hit by nothing. Could have been so much worse, but whatever deity is looking out for Gaiman, He could have been T-boned. That could have been night. But he stays on and continues on. We also saw Ryan Pennell take a sight spin as well. Take another look this time from the chopper camera. Yeah, it just kind of comes up the road a little bit. They touch. And it's the same snap we saw affect Galwin and a few others. Once these cars get kind of loose, you can't save it. And again, it could have been so much worse. Other than four flatted tires, it could have easily been heavy damage. We'll take one more look at this. I do see Gaiman pop up again on the crash, but I think he may just be slowing down for the instant. At least I hope he is. So we'll take one more look. This time we'll watch Ryan Pennell, as he obviously has an own separate incident a little bit further back. I think he was just trying to avoid the caution here. Goes low, and it just snaps on him trying to go low. He spins through the grass. Again, similar to Gaiman, doesn't hit anything. So we stay green. We do see Gaiman pop up again here on the crash book, so we'll just see what happened here. I think nothing major. At least I hope nothing major. At least for his sake. Yeah, it looks like he's slowing up to come in the pit lane. Just make sure he doesn't... Stayed out. And he looped it. So he made the call to try to stay out and not come in. So, again, Gaiman using all of his 9 lives here, you could say. As he is having a lot of close shaves with these walls. But back up front, Vordon hangs on to the lead and keeps the lead. This extra little couple laps of the caution will save a few more gallons of fuel and maybe open up the strategy book a little bit. Obviously, looking in the chat right now, we see different people rooting for different drivers. Obviously, Smeal in the chat, rooting for Matt. Bring home the cup for SRD, the Lone Ranger of Smeal Racing Designs. Probably not going to bring home the constructors, but at the very least can bring home the drivers. We see the other Smeal in the chat rooting for Gaiman. Got McCarthy rooting for Gaiman. Don't see anyone really pulling for Feather Place, but we know some people definitely. We know Feather Place's partners probably rooting for him as well, family as well. Same point, Marshall, people rooting for him as well. Obviously, I think he's got a partner and I think a kid too. So obviously they're rooting for him as well. Obviously, maybe not in the chat, the active chat, but definitely watching at home. So we do get the one to go this time by. This is where it'd be kind of cool to have watch parties and screens, but obviously not at that professional level at all. But that would be very awkward to have all those cameras. But anyway, Vordon, Oberstadt will be row 1. Marshall, Featherplace, row 2. Markowski, McDonough, Kent, Dixon, LaJoy, Baxter, your top 10. Worth noting, Gaiman did not actually even come in under that incident. He's elected to stay out, so even though his tire's a bit roasted, he feels like he doesn't want to burn an extra set. Problem is now he is going to have to climb. He's not going to have any more stage cautions or anything else to get himself up towards the front. At this point, he may be better off trying to pull maybe an alt strategy if he can't get through the field quickly. We'll see if he's got anything in mind. One thing's for certain, though, Gaiman's probably used up a lot of his 9 lives. Does he have any more left? Pace truck pulls off. Vordon, Oberstadt, row 1. Marshall, Featherplace, Markowski, McDonough, Kent, Dixon, LaJoy, Baxter. Green flag is off, and away we go. Joe Dirt gets a great restart. Marshall followed suit on that inside line. Marshall going to clear Oberstadt, put him in the second. Kent, Markowski, they'll be side by side. That's 30 years. Colin McDonough there. Oh, he's going to clip the wall just a tiny bit, but up front. Good run off of 3 and 4, and that's going to be a lap led for Marshall. They'll be shooting it down the corner. Obviously, you do get a bonus point for leading a lap, but that's only going to matter really for the constructors, not for the championship. And right now, Marshall going to clear Vordon and is back to the lead. Oberstadt going to slot in third. See if Vordon right now in chat rooting on Matt, but right now Matt has already fallen down a spot. The question is, does that 00 have the speed he needs to get back around? Remember, he did have a good pole time. We'll answer that question. He's going to answer back right now. Low side, can he clear? Oberstadt as well there. And that's going to be cleared again, so put Vordon back to the lead. Now, Patrick Oberstadt going to be trying to get around. Marshall cannot do so. So top two stay 1-2. You see Marshall going low side here. Y'all see in the far shot, Feather Place trying to answer back. Marshall gets re-clear, so the two first-time appearances in the Final Four for both Marshall and Vordon. They're taking the veterans to school, as now Vordon going to get a little shunt there by Oberstadt. Go back to my point, though, I was trying to say before Vordon make that move. We've seen Vordon start well, but he falls back later on as the run goes on. Again, was he saving tire? Was he trying differing points, or was the car just not hooked up for the long run? Does his driving style not favor this track? There's a lot of questions. Did 00 try to get up? He will clear the 60. Update for the Gaiman fans at home. He's already up to 8th position. Knocking on the door. Another bullet. I believe, actually, yeah, battling in 8th right now. He knows this is important if you're at least a Gaiman fan, because you know you got to get back up this top 5 before the pit stop window opens. Feather Place knocking on the door here. Ooh, a little bit of a wall tap by Feather Place. Oberstadt, though, going to rip it around, and he's going to get the second. Now, Feather Place going to try to clear Vordon. I think he's going to get the job done. Vordon is trained on that low side. He just can't fully get it ripped up. Feather Place is going to stay in 3rd. Vordon going to have to try to stop the bleeding here soon. Honestly, if I'm speculating at home, I think he's going to be a driver. He's going to have to try a different strategy. I just don't think he's got the long run pace in that machine. Unless, again, he's saving something that is a possibility. This Michigan is a track that can make those weird strategies of fuel saving work. We saw it at Auto Club. These 2-mile tracks, you can find that extra fuel if need be. You see Vordon stop the encounter going into the pack. They were right on board with Gaiman. He's pushing back. He can't clear right now. As he's now got his number 61 back in the 6th. And you can see right there, he's also going to clear Markowski as Kent gets a little bit wobbled. And now it's going to be a 3-wide encounter back, but we're going to go back to the leader for a second. We see a pass for the lead of this race. Oberstadt to the lead. Oberstadt, again, not really for the championship, just here for the pride of the win. We know he's going to be these longer tracks, and he's going to be side-by-side with the 16 here. It hates to cut away from a 3-wide battle, but you have to show the lead, the battle for the lead and the battle for the win. This Oberstadt representing B-Tron. Side-by-side with Sunny Money Racing. Ford versus Toyota. Then, Ford versus Chevy. Toyota in the distance. Another Ford and another Chevy. You know, Marshall likes that low groove, but he can't fully get that arc up. Speaking of Gaiman, let's look on the high side here. He's going to try to rip it around. Wish we had a better wide shot. You see right there, Gaiman side-by-side with Feather Place. At the same point, Marshall side-by-side with Oberstadt. They are coming to fight and coming to play, and look how deep the 16 will run that move. He is now clear for second. Gaiman threading the needle, almost gets shoved into the locker. Side by side for the lead. 3 wide for the lead. No one giving an inch, knowing that this is for do or die, even though we have 50 more laps. Gaiman looking to slot in. Can he slide up? the moment, he cannot slide up. It's still side by side, and he's going to be put into that sucker hole for a moment. That's the risk going to the uber low line. If you can't slide up, you could get sent to the back in a hurry. You see Kyler in the chat, keeping an eye on Gaiman's position. Right there, you can see Featherplace doing the switcheroo to what Gaiman did to him. And now Gaiman has gone from a high to a low, and he'll have to slot back into fourth. So, food for thought, knowledge indeed, but it definitely is interesting to know you're trying to figure out what your car can do here and know what you have to do when the chips get down to the line. Back to the front, Marshall, Oberstadt, still 1-2 at the moment. Worth noting, top 12, all, if we go to wide shots to show you, top 12 at the moment, all in this little pack we're watching. As 13th, Brian Dixon is just a tad off this pack. To show you just right now, while we have this quick second laps led, 58 of the 89 laps have been by that man, Edward Marshall. Josh Gaiman has only led 4. Featherplace at the moment has led none. And Matt Vordon, the other rivals, led 19 by staying out for stage 2. At the moment, I would honestly say the driver that I think would at least led a lap right now is not led a lap in Brandon Featherplace. He's got a decent car, but at the moment, don't think he can fully execute it. And this, again, raises the question. If you don't have the fastest car at the moment, with a final pit stop looming soon, what do you do? Do you take 2? Do you undercut and hope you can hang on? Do you stay out long and hope for a caution of sorts? Because right now, Marshall can be reactionary, if you will, as we see Gaiman pushing over to try to get a little closer. But Marshall can be reactionary. He can try to just do whatever he wants and try to make it stick. He knows he's got the speed to come back. Do what you think is best, but if you don't have that speed in the package right now to beat the top car, you got to try something different. 51 laps, now to 50 laps. 50 laps for this season. First car in at the moment, Ross Baxter. We'll see if it's scheduled or not. If this is open window, then we have one more pit stop looming for this field. So it'll be a 2 pit stop finale here. But obviously Baxter could be just doing it solo and could be unscheduled. Gaiman going super high again. Overstacks, losing it, still losing it, but he will save it. No caution, no harm really other than to himself, but he will now fall outside the top 10 here and keep it pointing the right direction though, but that was almost sketchy. Because again, right there, Gaiman going to go very low. Try to charge high side here. Top 3 pulling away. Vordon buried in traffic at the moment by LaJoy, Kent, Markowski. Speaking of Kent, we see him right there, side by side with LaJoy. What do we have left in the book of strategy? LaJoy gets clear. Head back to the lead. Marshall making that car wide, holding his angles. Gaiman just trying that high side, and it's getting him the run he needs. As we'll go on board with Featherplace to show you, it's getting him the run he needs. We can't fully get on a corner panel. See 3-4 here. He goes low to try to get that extra draft, and then try to follow up. Oh, a little check up there by Marshall. Maybe even a bit of contact. That's going to put Gaiman to the lead. I wonder possibly what was happening there, but it's caused Marshall just enough of a checkup, maybe even a slight tap by Gaiman. You can see they were both running the same speed. Or maybe just Marshall got loose. Press X to intimidate, and I think that button may have worked for Gaiman. First major shakeup we see here tonight. Now Gaiman controls the pace, Gaiman controls the field. Oh, Marshall, I think, just hit the wall a tiny bit. We'll check this fender here. You can see a little crack, but I think that's from previous incidences down pit lane. Two drivers in. Kent and Dila. They're both in, so I think we are in the window here. And looking when they last pitted at 71, do not think they will have the range. We'll just flip back to confirm something. Yeah, 81, 91. That's about 26 laps from when they came, like we saw the latest runners go. So I don't think a one-stop's on the cards, because you'd have to stretch it another 10 whole laps. But we'll see here. Closer you can get to that number, though, the better it will be. Gaiman pulling away from Feather Place. Feather Place under pressure from Dila, and I saw a little bit of smoke. Marshall here, and I saw a little smoke on pit lane. I think that was Matthew Kent, possibly Dila, because we saw a little bit of smoke down pit lane, so caught my eye off for a second. We know that undercut will promote Kent and Dila a little higher. Obviously, Kent may even cycle back with the lead, depending on how long they go here. Oh, Gaiman's in. Gaiman is signifying he's doing the two-stop here. Cuts the lead in a second. Just want to show he's coming down pit lane. Do not want to speed. He'll get the brakes down. We'll cut to him in a second. Just want to make sure Marshall doesn't make a lunge on Feather Place. Feather Place will lead us first lap of the race here with 44 laps to go. Back to Gaiman. If there's another stop in the cards, I assume this will be 4 tires this time by. 2 tires on the money stop possibly. Doesn't miss his box. Jack goes up for 2. Jack goes up for 4, so he's taking 4 tires. And away he goes. Back up towards the front. Feather Place, Marshall, both in at the same time. Along with McDonough, Oberstedt, and pretty much the rest of the field. So again, looks like the 2-stop on the cards here for them as well. Keep an eye on both of them as well. We know Marshall goes in more conservatively, so we'll see if that costs them any time. Both in their box. We'll go with a wide shot here just to see if we can get them both in screen, but they're just too far away. So we're just going to keep an eye on both here. Jack's up for at least presumably Feather Place. Jack's up for Marshall as well. Oh, interesting call. Fuel only possibly for Marshall. He did not take tires. Vordon in as well. Feather Place taking 4. Away he flies. Now the last of the championship rivals in Vordon. So we are pretty much signifying no one's stretching it. We have one more pit stop for this race. Like we did with the other 3, we will watch and see what Vordon does. Ryan Pinnell leads the way, by the way, as he is yet to pit. When it's all cycle done, Marshall will take the race lead. Jack up 2. Is it going to be 4? Oh, 2 tires for Vordon. Away he flies. So back up to the front. Here's our race leader. So we'll take the pit lane graphic off the screen. Ryan Pinnell. He is staying out. Maybe hoping for a late caution. A caution here to try to split it. See right there, though, Hungry Pack behind him trying to unlap him. There's Feather Place, for instance. He's yet to unlap himself. There is Vordon and, well, Joy, who both just came in as well. So watch right now as Feather Place gets around him. Oberstadt, and I assume Vordon will follow suit in just a second. So it's a very interesting call for Marshall. Is it a winning call? That is the question. I did not see the jack go up once. If the jack did go up, it was for left sides. But he did not take 4. I think his time was right around the same time as Vordon. Actually, Vordon was 12 seconds with 2. So I think, yeah, Marshall took fuel only. Those other cars unlapped themselves. We'll do a quick little wrap around here in just a second. I just want to see Vordon unlap himself just for a second. So Joe Dirt officially unlaps himself, and I believe it's Pinnell coming in with 40 to go. He is now in, signifying everyone has made their pit stops this stage. At least the first one. There's one more looming. Edward Marshall, current going to take the lead of this race. What's not the most favorable for him right now is the driver that took 4 is just behind him on track. Josh Gaiman, sitting right now, came in 1 lap earlier than Marshall, was the first through the undercut, and he's kind of closed up that gap we saw Marshall take with the fuel-only stop. At least I assume it was fuel-only. It was definitely not 4 tires like Gaiman took. They are 1-2 at the moment. We'll re-update where everyone is in just a second, but we're going to let them kind of play out here as we see Purnell cycle through here. Then you see right there a little bit further back, there's Feather Place, also on 4 tires, to the leader, about 1.8 back. And then Matt Fordon, 3 and some change back, as he's battling LaJoy right now for 7th. So back to the lead. We know right now that 61's going to be faster. That is just a give me at this point. And you're going to see it right now. There's really nothing you can do to block that off. Gaiman leads a lap. Game at the moment. Is looking to try to make that high side work. Oh, he's actually in the wall. Yeah, he got stuck in the wall right there. He's still stuck in the wall. Gaiman's going to lose all that advantage he just got as he just pancaked that wall coming down the straight. And it's even going to lose him a spot, too. He was in the wall for so long. Does he have any damage? You can see that whole right side just scratched up. It looks like he's okay, but all that gap he just gained, he just lost. And now Feather Place going to answer back here. Just be thankful you can't get flat tires here in iRacing. Feather Place clear at the moment, also going to try to clear. So now he is up to 2nd. Gaiman, Feather Place came in the same time at Marshall, so on the same strategy. Obviously, Kent not going to roll over and die. He is fighting for his own success as he's, remember, team owner of his own team. Oh, right there. Big move by Gaiman trying to recuperate. Remember, this fighting is allowing Marshall to pull away. You almost want a tall driver to pick it and let's go again. Feather Place going to get cleared now up to 2nd. We'll have some clean track. Now Gaiman going to try to settle suit. And he will also get clear of Matthew Kent. So let's look at the picture. Feather Place right now, we'll check the times when they come across the line. Last time by, they ran dead even times. 38.97 for the lot of them. We'll see what happens this time by, but that gap is falling. Remember, because Feather Place was in a bit of a battle. This time by with a little more cleaner track. 38.54 for Feather Place, 38.97 for Edward Marshall. Feather Place will catch Marshall in the next lap or two. Catching's one thing, passing is another. Obviously, right now, top 3 in the championship, 1, 2, 3, and Matt Fordon is in 6. Even the far shot, he's still there. He's got McDonough and Kent ahead of him, but if he can get around him, he'll be in 4th. No driver trying to save all this championship for, so at the moment, the call is to come in one more time. If, again, unless I don't fully understand the fuel loads, there should be one more pit stop. Which, again, raises the question, what was Marshall's call going for fuel only? Because you're not going to want to take 4 tires on the last stop, especially if it's going to be short, unless he elects to come in early here, go for the super undercut, put 4 fresh tires on it, and try to rip it around. That could be the call. Because we're right now presumably getting within, or now officially in the, if you pit now, you will not have to come back in again. Obviously, if you pit this early, you may not have enough fuel for a green-white checkered. And lastly, we don't fully know how many sets of tires they do have available to them, because that was usually provided in the race information. Sadly, we do not have that information available. So will they have an extra set? Seth Wanzing is in, by the way. Obviously, he's outside the top 10, so it doesn't hold a major factor, but looks like he's taking it behind the wall, so his day is officially done. Up front, 33 to 32 laps to go. It's pretty much what I assume the championship 3 is probably going to be these 3. No offense to Bourdon. Right now in 5th, he's kept close speed, but being that far back right now, I don't like his odds. But if he gets that rocket under him, never count him out. I talked about early in the race whether or not you want to make the pass, whether or not you want to make the move. And I'm wondering right now, you don't want to sit behind him. I think right now if you're feather placing the game and you need to get around Marshall quick and try to flex whatever you got left on those tires and try to pull away. But there's also benefit of staying toes together here and just try to get the extra draft off the corners. Make it work, because theoretically, Marshall's going to have to take some set of tire coming in the last stop. If you take 2 as well, you can maybe try to jump. This time by 30 laps to go. Marshall hits the wall a little bit, but he has been the dominating car here tonight. Does feather place, Gaiman, Vordon, Kent, anyone else have anything to answer for him? Feather place going to go low here. Marshall's preferred line, but the high side's where he can drive off. Brian Roberts is going to be a lap car here up the road. I don't think it will play a factor. Right there, though, feather place can't fully get cleared in. Gaiman going to go high. Stand forward here with Gaiman just to show you the line situation here. Feather place side by side right there. You can see with Gaiman, but Gaiman again going to have that high line advantage. These two have been scrapping all the way since Vegas last week. Let's just hope their scrapping doesn't lead them to a path of destruction. Feather plays trying to clear, but can't get the door shut. That should allow Gaiman to get the run here, presumably. Don't look now. Vordon is slowly reeling in this top 3. Like I said, can't count him out. Them getting scrappy, Vordon could open the door for a chance here. Gaiman going to get clear. Ross Baxter in for what should be his final stop. So Gaiman now to second, feather place in third, Vordon now sitting in fourth, all under a blanket. Roberts can play a factor here, but I think Roberts will just presumably just get out of the way here. He has no allegiance to anyone. He's not, I believe, part of the team anymore. I think he's now just a privateer. Obviously, former teammates will be sending money, but I don't think that really plays any factors. Just double checking. Yeah, I don't see him in the driver lineup on a team, so I think he's just here for himself, so he's not going to really play much of a factor other than one to stay on the lead lap. Marshall, clear. Gaiman trying to clear as well. Gaiman going to have a good run on the low side here, but we've seen that bite in the rear unless you can make it stick. Going to side draft off the corner panel here. Shooting down the straight. This is the best chance Gaiman's got to clear right now. At the moment he is clear, he's going to slot right up. Not going to miss the boat. Not going to miss the opportunity. Gaiman to the lead, but Gaiman spins. Gaiman spins again in down pit lane, and it's the inside wall. And the cat has ran out of lives. Gaiman officially done. As he's ran out of lives. We'll take a quick look at that again. As I think he got maybe help from Fleming. Just maybe in an indirect incident here. We'll rewind again just to show it, because this is, nope, unrelated to what happened to Fleming. But just watching. Gaiman comes up and the car kicks and Marshall has nowhere to go. Shoots low, can't save it, bams off that wall. And that is that. The run ends for Gaiman. Back to the lead. Feather place has cleared Marshall. While we were watching that just to get the impact. 25 to go. Vordon also here as well. It's a heartbreak for Gaiman, as he just can't find the luck. Like I said in the pre-race, versatile but volatile. And the volatility exploded. And he's now out of this race. Vordon coming to life late here. We know there's one more pit stop. Feather place at the moment. We'll check the times across the board here. That time by 38.62 Feather Place, 38.68 Marshall, 38.99 Vordon. Vordon is battling a little bit, but right now Feather Place can't break the toe Marshall's in. And this is where it lingers. This last stop coming up. 2, 4, fuel only. I don't think you take fuel only, but Marshall showing maybe fuel only has something in it. Unless he took 2. 2 will get you the track position, but as these laps tick down, will you have enough time to answer back? Lastly, the undercut is potent, can get you the spots. Do you try to undercut? Kent is in. He'll be the first of the driver's undercut. He is in. I think right now if you're Vordon, you have to go for the undercut. I just think you have to. He's got speed, but right now he needs the clean air. If you're Marshall, I think you got to maybe as well just to try to get off these older tires. Feather Place, he likes to go long, but so far he's been on the driver that's been on the bad end of some of these strategy calls. Did see a puff of smoke, but Vordon maybe listening in. He is in. Final pit stop of the night for him. This is the money stop. Your whole season relies on these pit stops. And it's all up to the crews now. After this, you have whatever strategy you've pulled, and you got to make it work. We will stay on Vordon until he is out of his box, or unless Feather Place and Marshall both come in. In. Does not slide his box. Does not have to reverse. Jacks up. He puts 2 down. Does he go for 4? 2 tires and away. He thinks 2 tires is the way. It's what got him victory at Kansas. Marshall in. He'll be the next of the championship 3 left. Feather Place stays out, so he's going for the overcut. Marshall surprised us all with his call last time by. What is in the cards for the driver of the 16? He's had the dominant car all night. What will get him back around Feather Place? Stops in his box. Jack up 2 tires. Will he take 4? 2 tires as well for the driver of the 16. Away he goes. Feather Place, final of the championship 3 in. No speeding for any of the 3. It's now up to the 34. 2 tires for the 00. 2 tires for the 16. What does the 34 think? Think you got to counter out with 2, but if you think you can make the time up on 4, it's faster. Does he even have 4 left? 2 up on the Jack. Does he take 4? No, he doesn't. He is away. Marshall is ahead right now of Vordon. We're going to go on board with the driver of the 16. Keep an eye on the left of your screen. How much is the gap going to be? Feather Place is already out of pit lane. He's presumably going to come out with a lead, Marshall, but by how much? I don't even think he may. Feather Place up, still not up to speed yet, but he's about to blend onto the track. He's on the track now. You can see him right there in the distance. He's going to come out with an advantage. Fastest lap of the race for Vordon, by the way, purple lap. He's in 3rd, and he's trying to reel down Marshall. Looking at pit road times. Theoretically, Marshall had the slowest of the 4. And also, actually, sorry, no, slowest of the 3 was actually Feather Place. My mistake. 39.82 on pit lane time to a 40 for Marshall and a 42 for Vordon. Cruz went about 10.92, 11.05, and 11.38 for Vordon, so about the same. But that extra time, you see it right there, being aggressive on pit lane, it can lead you to a path of ruin. But the same point has put Feather Place 2 seconds clear of our race leader. Well, obviously, Pinella's in the lead right now, and he is now pitting. But theoretically, when it all cycles through, 2 seconds clear with no draft as help. So as Pinella's in his box right now, the ARCS El Presidente, he will pit, and it will now be Feather Place. Final pit stops are done. 18 laps to go. Your heart can be in your throat almost right now. You've done everything you can on strategy, and now the question is, what can you do? Battle for second. Vordon, who's pretty much locked up the Rookie of the Year. Can he get around Marshall? There's Ross Baxter. Worth noting, teammate for Bowie, but obviously a couple laps down would probably be in lots of trouble if he did. I think he's only 1 down. No, he's 9 laps down. So if he doesn't, should just concede the spot here. You say that, but he's going to hold line. Having teammates can help here, and you can see it right there. Not going to say anything's happening, but at the very least, Baxter going to help out Feather Place, open up that gap a little bit more. Marshall's opened up a bit of distance to Vordon. Separation, half a second. But up front, it's the Ghost Energy driver currently leading the way. Looking through the chat right now as we're fully focused on that battle. We see Gaiman not happy with how it ended. I don't 100% blame him because, you know, tempers are high and frustration, but very least, though, it's going to sting, at least for the very least. A couple drivers are in agreement, though, what he said. 16 coming to 15 laps to go. The moment, it's still 2.68, is now 2.4, I should say. It's coming down a little. Last time by, dead even times almost. Marshall was about 1,000th quicker, 38.57 to a 38.58. Right now, with no real draft help, right now, all Feather Place kind of has to do is make sure he doesn't step on it. And he should be at least smooth sailing for the moment. Just keep putting down good times and drive your race. Caution is out. That is going to be big. Dale Markowski, heavy lick there. That is going to flip this on its head. Oh, boy. We'll quickly watch it because we want to get back to the track in a minute. But look at this. Markowski fighting with Kent. Markowski just snaps, hits the outside wall. Not really anything you can say. No contact. The engine lets go. It stayed done. And also, Dila piles in a little. Oh, nowhere to go for Colin McDonough. Pile in and out. Also kill his car, too. Normally, would watch the replay again, but I want to get back because pit lane will be open soon. I want to make sure we don't miss anything crazy like that. So we'll head back to the front here. Feather Place was looking like he was smooth sailing, but this has just neutralized it and is given a chance to Marshall and Vordon. Does Marshall have another set? Does Vordon have another set? Does Feather Place have another set? Unknown at the moment. I think if you got when you got a pit, Marshall is in. And I think I know why. Oh, wait a minute, Marshall! Hold on a minute. Up the road. What just happened to Marshall? I'm going to just quickly rewind. Other drivers are in, by the way, but no one else in the Championship 3 pit. Did he try to snake him out? Let's watch it again. Came in. Tried to pull out, clipped through the grass, and up the road. Almost gets hit by LaJoy. So he'll get his spots back, even though real NASCAR probably wouldn't because he didn't maintain pit speed or speed under the caution. But he'll get his spots back. Seeing the chat fire up right now. So I was wondering if Marshall had an extra set just because of the principle of, didn't take anything in that middle one, but I guess he doesn't. Same point, Feather Place and Vordon, if they had anything, probably would have came in. We saw 13 laps maybe being enough, and considering 11th on, actually looking at who came in, pretty much, if I'm reading it right, Dila and Oberstadt came in, so you would have fired off P8 if you had an extra set. So, presumably, pretty much, I think, top 3 are out of tires. Because I think if you pitted and you had an extra set, you would have made it. You would have run them back down. But, I guess they don't have it. All right, we should get the one to go this time by. Feather Place was looking to cruise. but now is going to have to survive a restart, maybe more, depending on what happens. Let's set the tone. Feather Place. 2-time regular season champion, 3-time finalist in the Final Four. Can 3 be the magic number? He's got one more restart to try to figure that out. And one of the few Toyotas in the field. Edward Marshall, series regular, came on the scene, I believe, in 2023. Got a pole, got his first win this year. First time in the Final Four. He's had the dominating car here tonight. Can he now take this last life he's gotten and make something happen? Matt Fordon, the wild card, if you will, has qualified his car on the front row, so he's got some speed in that machine. But at the same point, does he have anything for these top two? He was catching up to Marshall, but then lost it. Is this going to be his one chance on this restart? Also, 2-time winner, the only one of the other multiple-time winners, that being Feather Place, Millett, and Hagen. One of these 3 men will be able to call themselves the champion of A-squared in 11 laps' time. The question is, who will it be? And keep an eye on LaJoy, Ken, Pinnell, all in this top 6 as well. Maybe trying to play spoiler. Pace car pulling off what could be the final time. Control on Feather Place. Green flag is out. Great launch on the inside line. Fordon got the launch of a lifetime. If this is his only opportunity, he is taking it. Into second, Marshall caught napping. Fordon not going to stop there. Going to try to take the lead in this race. Side by side, heading off the corner. He's going to have the drag. Can he side draft his way to the lead? Feather Place trying to hang tough on the high side. 0-0 at the moment. Not clear, not clear. Still clear. Going to clear himself. 0-0 to the lead. 0-0 takes the lead with 10 to go. Feather Place in second. Fordon holding the lead with Marshall in third. Talked about how he needed one chance, one opportunity. Can he aero block his way to victory? Feather Place, Marshall, second and third. Oh, it's almost thought I saw a snap there by the 34, but could have been optical illusion. 34 low side, 16 there as well. 34 trying to clear, 16 going to try to push him clear. 34 going to get the lead back. Will the 16 try to go high here? He's pushing the 34 down the straight. 9 to go. 34 going to go low, 16 going to go high. Feather Place clear. Fordon now on the inside of Marshall. Marshall fast lap of the race that time by. Fordon can't hold it. He's going to slot back in the third. What can you do? Former Lion Power teammates battling here with 8 to go. Another caution is out. Neutralize the field. Dila and Roberts involved. There's Mark Dila. Inside wall right there. Bren Roberts also slow on the track, so we're going to re-rack this and do it again. Much to probably the chagrin of a few drivers. We'll take a quick look. Dila just went a little high. They got stuck together. Shot low. Dila cuts through the grass, right through victory lane, and hits the inside wall. And then obviously Bren Roberts will take one more look at this from Bren Roberts' perspective from another angle. They get stuck. Hip check. Fordon goes. Dila goes down. Roberts stays in the middle there. Cuts to the ally section. But doesn't really hit anything. But he'll keep going. So back to live action. Obviously, if they had any tires, they would have came in last time by. But now, just C4 occlusions. Pit lane is officially open, but no one is coming in. Looking right now, Fordon from Gaiman himself is noting that Verdon may be driving in just a bit too hard. Could be affecting entry and exit. Last restart is all you could want from Verdon. He's going to fire off in the same spot. Can he do it again? But I don't think Marshall is going to be sleeping at the wheel this time. When we get the green, we should have 5 laps to go. A year. It's a long way to wait. The off season, 6 months, at least 6 months away. 5 months to be exact. Let me go back to my point. So there's 5 months till we see the start of the season again. Obviously, there's other series that happen in A squared, but the main championship here. It's going to be a year. A long year. For any mistakes made here with 5 to go, when you take the green, could haunt you for a lifetime, or at least for a year, if not more. I know that feeling all too well through other competitions I've run in. It sits on you. We're going to see the 1 to go this time by. Again, just like takes opportunity before the action gets too hot. Everyone, thank you for tuning in here for the last 25 race weekends. It has been an honor, a privilege to call them all. And I'm glad to see how this season is going in. Well, technically, almost all. I did miss the 500, because that was Carmen calling that one. But I was there in spirit. my spirit was there. It's been fun to call it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and week out. Hopefully you've enjoyed this competition, and hopefully it brings the finish that it so desperately desires. Feather Place going to have control on the launch. That should give him at least an advantage. Marshall was caught napping last time by. Will he get the restart time this time by? No, he's got the fastest car, and he knows how to aero wash it. Verdon, we saw him time it right, get to the lead, but he couldn't hang on. It almost makes you wonder, does he need another restart after this? Because I think if he gets ahead, I don't know if he's going to have the speed to hang it. But I've been proven wrong. I've doubted him. He's been great in the long run. Buckle those seatbelts, hang them tight, take a deep breath, because this is going to get good. Everyone else also doing good as well. LaJoy, Verdon, Kent, Oberstadt, Pinnell, Dixon, Battles, Dila, all doing good, but we're focusing on this top 3. Here we go for what could be the final time. Green flag is out. Away we go. Another great restart by Verdon. Feather Place going to clear again. Marshall stuck again in the mud. Now 3 wide further back. Battle for the lead. We're staying on, but you can see Oberstadt trying to get around Marshall. Right now, Verdon trying to hang it high side. Oberstadt there as well. Off into the corner. Right now at the moment, I don't know if Feather Place is in the best spot, but he's going to hang on the corner panel here. Marshall's gotten the giddy up back in the machine. I think if you're Feather Place, you have to clear right now. It's very important. He will. Verdon going to try to hang it high side right now with Marshall. 3 wide for second. Right now, Oberstadt could be a boy's best friend if he can make the clear work here. Right now, LaJoy's going to push Oberstadt. Heading off into 2. This squabbling is helping right now the 34 machine. Oberstadt trying to clear, but can't get it. Verdon hits the wall. He's going to fall down the 4th. Marshall survives the challenge. He now knows it's go time. He's got pretty much going to be 3 laps to try to make a move on the 34. Feather Place still leading. Fastest lap of the race again for Marshall, but that is a given with all the slipstream. Feather Place going to go middle groove. Marshall high groove. Feather Place doing the tricks we saw with Marshall. Marshall trying to do what Gaiman did, trying to rip it around the high side. At the moment, it's not working. Theoretically, if Feather Place can plant his car where he needs to plant it, it could be good. Marshall going to go way low here, trying to drive it down. Over up the wall. I think he hit the wall a little bit. He did. That's going to cost him time. Overstack going to get a run here for second. The gap now opens to 4/10. 2 laps to go here. Feather Place hoping to see that white flag. Going to go down again here. Oberstadt in the preferred line, the rip it on the high side. Can he clear? He can. That is what Feather Place wants to see. A car between him and his main championship rival. Marshall going to try to drive it deep, but is not going to have it. I think he may have burned his stuff up. And as they come off of 4, Feather Place going to see the white flag, this time by 1 lap to go here in the season. 2 miles separates him from a championship. Oberstadt in second, Marshall in third, Vordon in fourth. I think Marshall has nothing left in the tank. Feather Place, 2 corners to go. They said after the 2023 season, when he stepped away from full-time competition after winning the regular season championship, was he going to come back? He came back, finished a couple corners court in 2024, but 3, it is the magic number, and it matches the 34 on the number sheet. Brandon Feather Place wins the championship and wins the race here in Michigan. He is your champion of A Squared. Patrick Oberstadt in second, Ford Marshall in third, Vordon in fourth. But it's all smiles from the team built from the ashes aligned power. Couldn't get it done under the Sears banner, but now, as the team owner himself, he has done it. 3 years of trying, maybe even a bit more. He has done it. 3rd win of the year. Hey, it comes in 3s. 3 wins, 3 years of trying, and finally a championship. Congratulations from Benell. Congratulations from his teammate. And here comes Ross Baxter as well, going to give a congratulatory little celebration here as well. But it's going to be a Bowie Toyota celebration here, as they've locked up the constructors, locked up the drivers. Feather Place, your winner, and we're just going to let the sights and sounds of him celebrating take us home here. So he's going to come back here, join his teammates. They're going to come in. And I think there's going to be a little joint celebration here. The trifecta of glory. Got to make sure you save enough engine to pull it into the victory circle right there. And he will pull it in successfully right there. So do not go anywhere. We will hear from our top 3. Presumably we'll also hear from our finishing of anyone that, Championship 4 that wants to talk to them. Probably more than welcome to. But we'll definitely hear from the top 3 and Vordon too. But while we wait, we're going to quickly pull up the results screen here. So I do want to let Feather Place go first, just because, want to catch that raw emotion, if you will. So we'll pull up the results here. Feather Place takes the victory and the championship from 12th spot on the grid. Oberstadt, Marshall, Vordon, Dixon, LaJoy, Pennell, Battles, Kent, Dila, finishing all in the top 10 there. Roberts, Johnson, I think Johnson was still running. Baxter, Galloway finishing on 14th, and then we get to the retirements on the next page. Markowski, McDonough, Gaiman, and then Wanzing, Fleming, Feemster. And hey, there's myself. Obviously, made a slight mistake signing in. So we'll see if anyone's ready here. If he's not ready, we'll go with Marshall and Vordon first to hear their thoughts. We'll give him a second maybe to, celebrate in. So we'll hear now from, actually, well, he is ready to go. So we will bring in our championship winner right now, and we'll make sure we get the right graphic on the screen. So we'll hear from him now. Brandon Featherplace, your champion and your race winner. Brandon, this is Kevin the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I sure do.
You are very excited after 2 straight years of interviews coming in not in the win. You finally get to put a hand on that trophy. But we have to start at the beginning because qualifying, you were the slowest of the championship 4. So what happened in qualifying? Looked like that 34 wasn't in tune.
Yeah, that's to say the least. I I had a really good run going, and I kind of just sent it going into 3 and 4, and it washed up out of 4. So I didn't get what I was supposed to get. It would have been pretty close to the pole, I believe, if it would have not gotten tight there. But so is my season. You know what I mean? It's like it seems like I put myself in these holes, so often, and I guess tonight wasn't any different.
But if it starts the way, it may end as something different as you've always climbed out of those holes. Looking onward, you get up for the field. And we got to talk about the conditions. I know Gaiman was making a bit of a stink about it. We know the drivers as well. How did it feel out there passing and driving? Because I feel like aero wash was the key to the race here tonight.
It was very difficult. Between the dirty air from the car in front and the car behind you, if he gets close enough, being able to grief you out of the way. It was very difficult tonight. So you really had to be careful what lane you choose, kind of where you ran, and just hope that the guy in front of you didn't cross your way because you were going to lose the nose if you did.
We did see that a couple times tonight with many different drivers. But we go through the race. You're keeping the car in the top 3, keeping it consistent, not over pushing it. And then we get to the pit stops, and we get to the final pit stops. And then you come out ahead 2 seconds clear, and then we see what probably all drivers hate when they have a gap, a caution coming out with 12 to go. So take us to that mindset when you saw that caution and what was going through your mind. Were you worried someone else was coming in for tires, or were you just like, I'm just going to stay out here and hope for whatever the best is the best?
Yeah, I mean, I had pretty much made my bed. I had to lay in it. I had taken my last set of right side tires right there on that last pit stop. And I feel like I executed the best pit stop all night. And I was really excited. I was 2 seconds up, and I'm like, oh man, if I can manage this, I'm golden. And all of a sudden there was a caution. And I, thanks to my teammates, Brian Dixon and Ross Baxter, for being there for me. I was pretty close to just melting down right there because I thought that was my shot. And, they kept me calm. They talked me out of it and kind of talked me off that ledge. And man, those restarts got pretty hairy there, didn't they?
That was my next question. We saw that restart. You got a good launch. Marsh got caught napping, and then we saw Vordon push you and get clear, and then then he gets clear. You get it back, and then we re-rack it, and then see it again. So obviously, you get a slight advantage on the restarts, but main goal going to those restarts obviously was not to spin the tires. So again, what kept you calm in those restarts that were probably crucial to give you that advantage?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just, I'm kind of calm, but I'm kind of not. I mean, at this moment, I think that my race has been thrown away, and now it's time to be aggressive, and it's time to get this done. And so for me, I really wasn't. It was kind of Vordran. Oh, I just exploded.
Yeah, just saw it on the broadcast. Hope that engine isn't going in the museum.
Vordran was actually pushing me off of most of those restarts, so it was not on me. I mean, he was pretty much shoving me out there, making it look much better than what it was. But, you have all these restarts and anything can happen. I mean, the air griefing, if I cross his wake at the wrong time, I'm in the fence. And so, I'm just a ball of nerves, man. I'm just super excited to be here right now.
And then we look at the final restart. You get clear with 5 to go. You're pulling away. Marshall seems to have his last little gasp. And next thing you know, you look in the mirror, 3-2. We see Marshall get passed by Overstat, and it looks like smooth sailing. So take us through that white flag lap from a champion's perspective as he was coming to take home glory.
It's going to take me a minute to get used to that, but it was once they started battling, um, and I got a couple tenths out. It was just, you know, running through my brain. Here comes another caution. Do I have enough fuel? Am I running my right line? Am I staying up front fast enough? And you're just thinking about all these things. The anxiety's through the roof, and you know, when you start realizing all I need to do is see that white, just show me the white flag. That's all I need to see, and you finally see it. You know, it, you're just excited because you're like, those guys are battling behind you, and you're basically just driving the wheels off this thing because you ain't got no more tires left, even if if there was another caution. So, um, just threw it down in there and it stuck. And I, I'm just so
Yeah,
excited
I
right
can
now.
definitely imagine. Probably much a loss for words. So, if there's any, obviously we've gotten to the point. If there's anything you want to add? Because obviously, talk about the season as a whole. If you want to do that, you can go right ahead. But we gotten to the point. Does anyone want to thank family, friends, sponsors, what have you? Floor is yours. Take it away.
God, 3 years making the Final Four, and I finally pulled it off. Um, I couldn't have done it without my team, Bowie Esports. Those guys have, helped me very much throughout the season. Just like this race today, talking me off a cliff, helping me, through this race. Um, thanks to them, Brian Dixon, Ross Baxter, Zach Millett. Um, he was. I learned a lot from him. Um, and thanks to my fellow admins, we put in the work for this series, and it's not always recognized, but we put in a lot of effort, and I'm really thankful that I got the opportunity to do that. Thank you to Premier for supplying the league with the setups that we've had this season. Um, I think they're much better than the iRacing sets, but you know, hey, that's subjective, I'm sure. And thanks to you all, ABN, for putting up with us all year long. Um, Everyone who watches these broadcasts, my family, friends, even if you're not rooting for me, just thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Um, God, I don't know what else to say. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I can
excited.
definitely tell. So you go enjoy that championship. Go enjoy their Bowie Esports teams. Actually, one more question: if you are coming back next year, you gonna keep the 34 or rock the one?
Uh, if I do come back, it'll be my number, the
Gonna keep the
34.
34. It gave you the speed. I don't think there's any reason to change it. So yeah, go enjoy that championship. Go enjoy it with the team. I know you definitely want to go celebrate. So enjoy yourself. Have a good rest of your evening and take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your year, and hopefully we'll see you back here in Daytona next year.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to
And that
see
was
y'all
Brandon
later.
Featherplace, our race winner and our champion. We do have some other interviews to go through as well. We'll talk to the guy that finished third, second in the championship. We'll talk to Edward Marshall. We'll hear him now. Edward, this is Kevin the Abin Booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I
Obviously,
do.
not how you wanted it to end, but you put up a fight regardless, and you can't be mad at that. So we'll start at the beginning because you had a car out there that qualified very well and looked fast. I'm not wrong to assume Michigan's a track that was definitely something that plays into your wheelhouse.
Yeah, flat out, balls to the wall. A little drafting. It's the best of everything race car.
Mm-hmm. Definitely shows off. These are definitely the tracks that play into your strength. We see you go out there, and we talked about the aero wash, and we'll ask from your perspective as well. How did it feel out there making passes and holding the lead there? As you were definitely someone that led the most laps. It showed that you were definitely able to hold those spots when you needed to.
Yeah, I mean, one and two, it wasn't bad. Like the arrow grief wasn't really a thing in one and two. Three and four, I don't know if it's the wind that was coming across three into four that made the car a little extra happy. But you can definitely feel it when someone was coming up on you or to the inside of you or the outside of you for that matter. So you had to be ready to catch your car whenever it was getting ready to rotate.
And you definitely did that. We'll talk about the pit lane incident that happened in stage 2. You were coming in and you were taking a bit cautious. Next thing you know, you got hit by Vordon. So take us to that incident there. Were you worried about what happened there? Were you worried you damaged the car? Like, what was going through your mind when that incident happened?
Uh, well, the only thing that you can really hope for is that you get to your pit box and the crew chief says your car looks good. You can get some tires on it, and you go back out there and do the best you can. Coming back on the track, I was hoping I wasn't as deep as I was, but I think I come back on track in like 15th or 16th position. The caution that come out shortly after that, that's what saved me. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, and he apologized for it. I don't think he was meaning to get in there as hot as he did, but at the end of the day, it did happen, and we just move forward.
That you did coming to a stage 2 victory. Looking at the final stage, we saw you come in with 2 pit stops. We saw the first pit stop. What was the call process there? Because I assumed you took fuel only, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't see the jack go up once. So what was the call process there for taking the strategy you did there while everyone else was taking 4?
Yeah, fuel only. I know that track position was such a big thing, and I didn't want to get trapped back there in fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth position. I felt like I got on pit road really well, got to my pit box really well, and like you said, fuel only stop, uh, and that saved me about 3 seconds on pit road. So I got out. Pinnell was still leading at the time, but I come out in second, with Gaiman and I think Vorndrun, right behind him,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it worked out great coming to the end of that stage. So I mean the end of that cycle, and the thought process was I can hold the lead, not give up too much time on pit road, check over the tires, make sure the tires are what they needed to be, and then make a call on that second stop whether I needed rights or lefts or all 4 or fuel only again. But the fuel only was great to get me out front, but did not give me the speed through the center of the turn that the other guys had. So I knew that second pit stop I had to get at least 2 tires.
And then let's go through, because obviously when the pit stop cycled out, you came out 2 seconds. We saw the caution, it re-neutralized it, and we saw you get a bit of bad poor restart, so you came back. So take us through that. We'll go for the final restart here. You get caught a little napping, you're coming back, and we saw you get those last lunges. And if I'm not wrong in my assumption, was it just you ran out of tire, ran out of some like tire pretty much? Because it seemed like you had just 1-2 more lunges, and it just seemed like it was just not meant to be after that. So take us through that final restart from your perspective.
Yeah, BP got a great jump. I was safe on the outside. I was good all the way coming off of 4, and I think I come off of 4 right behind him. But then, like, I told him before the race, I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure either you or me win. That's my boy. So I know everyone was having an issue with some aero grief through the middle of 3 and 4, and I was doing my best not to get to his rear end. So I ran a little bit lower than I probably wanted to, or cut it down a little bit lower than I wanted to, if it was anyone else. And he just had such a run through that second groove to third groove that going down the front stretch, I couldn't draft him enough or pick up enough speed to be on his bumper in 1 and 2. So, I mean, that's my boy. So whatever I could do to help him, I was going to do.
It worked out at least as you brought home. Well, he brought home the championship, and you brought home a decent finish. Obviously, if there's anything else you want to add about the season whole, go ahead. But we've gotten to the point. Does anyone want to thank family, friends, sponsors, what have you? Floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my wife, kids, allowed me to do this. I'd like to thank God for being my Lord and Savior. Also like to thank Premier Racing Setups for the wicked fast setups. And if anyone's looking for a setup shop, they do oval and dirt. So that's a one-stop shop for everything speed related in iRacing. And I'd like to thank the broadcast. Y'all put on a great broadcast, and I'm going to look forward to watching it back tomorrow.
Well, hopefully you do enjoy, as I think I put a good call out there. Regardless, though, it's been great talking to you. Hopefully we see you back here next year. But regardless, take care, enjoy the rest of the offseason, and hopefully see you back here in Daytona next year. And that was
Thank you.
our
Have a good
place
one.
finisher, third place finisher, Edward Marshall, second in the championship. And that will leave us one left. He finished fourth, but he finished third in the championship. We'll hear his thoughts now. Matt, this is Kevin, the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How we
Good as
doing?
always. Obviously, you may be wishing you were doing a little bit better, but you put up a good fight there. Definitely fighting on the late restarts. But we'll start at the beginning. Because qualifying, you put the car good, and you had to seem good speed, but it seemed like you struggled later in the run. So what was going on with the car? Because it seemed like you were fast on initial jumps, initial restarts, but as the run went on, you seemed to really struggle keeping the car towards the front.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't spend a whole lot of time in this car. Throughout that run, I was an absolute monster, 1 and 2. Just gaining cars. The line I was taking and how was I approaching it, and then 3 and 4, they would just walk away. I couldn't figure it out. The car in practice and in qualifying was pretty tight coming out of 4, and it was loose, which I do like, but I just couldn't give it. I wasn't comfortable enough throttling up where everybody else was. So yeah, it was 3 and 4 was a struggle for me throughout the whole race. I tried all the tricks in the books that I knew, and it was enough to keep pace, and my long run speed was okay, and I'd come back a little bit, but getting around somebody, using a passing line was just was a bit tough. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we definitely saw it, and that's a common theme we've seen is passing being tough with the arrow and the push and all that. It was very tough out there to make moves. Looking onward, we saw you pushing forward, making moves, trying to get forward, and then we saw stage 1, stage 2 go by, and we see you get closer, and we get to the final pit stop window, and you're pulling some strategies here. So I guess I'll ask this question, knowing that you maybe didn't have the best car out there. What was the mindset going through the pit stop window? Like, did you think you had to throw a Hail Mary to try to get up there? Or were you just hoping maybe I'm just going to do what I need to do and just hope things work out? Because we know you've seen you throughout the year. We've seen you take different strategies, 2 tires, fuel only, whatever. So were you thinking of anything crazy? Or were you just like, I'm just going to run my race and whatever happens, happens?
Well, I mean, it was seat of the pants. The whole race, whatever felt good, but I knew, in the short runs and stuff, I wasn't really gaining anything. So in that long run with the last green flag pit stop, I figured tires are going to matter a little bit more than they actually did. So I was like, I'm gonna throw this Hail Mary and take 2 rights, and that was 2 cycles on my left side tires. My left front was like 50%. And I had figured, it's like, man, I should hopefully put me ahead a good couple seconds, and that way, I might be right there at the line if it goes green. If not, well, we're just gonna race it out best of my ability. But yeah, it was kind of a Hail Mary strategy from there, and that last green flag pit stop, I slowed down way too much, and I basically burned all the advantage I had in even doing that. So it's just being a little overly careful. I saw too many people lose it out of 4, and didn't want to do that to myself. So, yeah, it was a bit of a Hail Mary, running 2 cycles on 1 set of lefts, but the car felt okay doing it. I wasn't losing nothing really by doing that. It just didn't have that drive off of 4 that I needed. In the end.
And obviously, I think you probably took a bit cautious too, because we saw that second pit stop on the first green flag pit stop. We saw you collect Marshall, so I know there's probably a risk of not wanting to speed, not wanting to take someone out.
Whoops.
On that point. So regardless, though, it almost, because we see that late caution happen. To kind of move on the topic, we saw that late caution happen. We saw you get bunched back up, and then we saw you get the restart. I talked about the broadcast. I'm wondering if you're going to get the restart of your life, and you got it not once but twice. So we know, I guess the thought process here, I'm just curious, with those last restarts, did you think if you got clear, could you hold off? Or were you just going to be like, I'm going to make this thing wide. If I end up in the fence, I end up in the fence. So take us those last restarts when you got the restarts of your life back to back.
Yeah, I was. I guess I was rolling pretty loose there on the restart, and had like a full car and a half between me and the leader, and just started rolling it pretty good. As soon as we crossed that restart line, I was basically on the gas, and it was great guesses both times. And then Patrick behind me, if I wasn't going, he was going to kill me because he was just helping it along. And yeah, that's how both those restarts happened. They were monster restarts. I knew I could basically bin it through all the way through one, just flooring it in fourth, and come out on top. But then again, as soon as we hit 3 and 4, my trouble area is just hanging on, and I didn't want to run anybody dirty. Didn't want anything, any antics to really happen. I know it's a championship race, and I'm going for it too, but it's not how I do it. So I had a blast running everybody. We had a little bit of Doran going on. It was fun. It was a blast. Those restarts were monumental.
And again, at the end, I kind of share that sentiment. You obviously don't want to win it. You don't want to end up being the ire of the town square, get the Chick Hicks championship where no one's going to really remember it because of how it ended. But regardless, you put up a great fight. You can't be ashamed of that, and you gave it your all there. If there's anything you want to add as a season as a whole, go ahead. But if we got to the point of the show, does anyone want to thank family, friends, thoughts, whatever? Floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, appreciate you putting on a good broadcast. Admins that put this on. Smeal for picking me. I think I was second draft pick there for his team after Hagen.
Yes.
Appreciate the faith he had in me. All my old teammates, Connor, Riley, Mark, Brian, all great guys. Chat with and run with. Appreciate the family watching these races. Sorry I didn't win it, but I did the best I could. I think it was a hell of a run for me being a rookie and not spending much time in this car.
Hey, you got yourself a rookie of the year, so you can't be proud. You gotta be proud about that one. So you walk home with something at the very least.
Yeah, I gotta thank Fleming for that. He's a great guy, and he put up a hell of a fight for it. So I give him a round of applause for the effort he put in. And all the other guys, there are, most of the guys that ran this race, I run outside of ARCS, and they're a great group of guys. It was a ton of fun. Yeah, I think that's it.
Obviously, glad you enjoyed the season as a whole. Hopefully, we do see you back here again. But regardless, take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the off season, and hopefully, we'll see you back here next year at the High Banks of Daytona.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Bourdon, and with that, our interviews are now officially over for the season, and we are going to bring them to a close. So overall, we'll go through the results one more time here real fast, and then we are going to get on out of here. We'll go back to the top of the page. Why not? Anyway, Feather Place takes home the win, takes home the championship, takes home the Constructors, does everything you can do, and a bag of chips. Oberstadt second. Again, good final run for him. Marshall third. Bourdon fourth. Dixon rounds out the top 5. LaJoy, Pinnell, Battles, Kent, Dila, your top 10. Roberts, Johnson, Baxter, Galloway. As we go through the results page, Markowski, McDonough, Gaiman, Wansing, Fleming, and Feemster round out the top 20, with myself finishing 21st by not completing one lap. So, obviously, this is where I get to my point where I get to say some final thoughts, too. It's been a great season. I've enjoyed calling it. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of suspenseful moments. It has been a blast to call it. It was a great finale, even though maybe the track selection, you could argue, may not have been the best because of the conditions. It was still fun to watch throughout this whole season. It's been great to call this race for even if the people that have watched, have tuned in week in and week out. We do generally thank you here at ABN Studios, and it has been a treat to see. Obviously, unknown if we come back here in 2026 at the moment. Obviously, they'll have to work that out through the offseason. If it does come, maybe I'll be back, maybe not. We'll see on that point. But regardless, it's been a fun 3 years to call this, and we'll see if we come back for a fourth. Other than that, though, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. It's been an honor. Met a lot of great people. There's a very nice tight-knit community here in ARCS as a whole, A squared as well, the smaller subsection. A lot of people coming in week in and week out. You hear a lot of stories, a lot of people's tales, and it's a fun community to be around. And yeah, can't trade that for the world, I suppose. So again, I know A Square will be back season 4, next season regardless. Some teams are coming back. We know Feemster's definitely bring back his organization. We'll see if anyone else fires up the organization as well. Hopefully they do come back as well. It's going to be a great season whether we're at the helm or not. So tune in and follow this series no matter where they go. Follow the other ARCS community series as well. I know some of them are on the Twitch channel. Some of them are on Rick James TV. Just follow the whole series as a whole. It's a fun series. A good group of guys and girls and everything in between. And yeah, very fun indeed. So I think I'm going to stop rambling, and I think I'm going to go enjoy this. So everyone, take care. Have a good rest of your week. Hope you enjoyed it. And obviously, we may do the All-Star race next week broadcast. We may not. We'll see if that happens or not. If it does, you'll see here next week, and we'll go through one more little song dance. But as a season as a whole, it's been a fun one. Enjoy the off-season, and we'll see you back for the next. We'll see. Someone will be back for the regular season. The start of the season next year at Daytona, whether it's here, there, anywhere. But make sure you tune into that, and make sure you follow me as well on all the projects I do. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Also, follow me at PepsiFreak212 on Twitter. It's a good follow. Instagram, too. Why not? Follow me those two if you've stayed this long. Let me do a self-promo. It's been 25 weeks. But anyway, take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next year.